Yo, what is up, everybody? I'm gonna give everyone a second to get in here. I'm gonna put on my loading screen for 1 second. I'll be back.
They call it the Uniparty. Is there going to be corruption in it? Absolutely. 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 Open your eyes. I call it the Uniparty. Is there going to be corruption in it? Absolutely. The experts say that there's corruption in these machines? Absolutely. The Democrats, they never asked me for evidence. Why? These computers. Haven't you watched the news? Open your eyes. Get rid of the computers. You're not a conspiracy theorist. Of course you're not. Why? Why don't you ask Fox News? You know what I preach all the time? You're full of crapola. Haven't you watched the news? Do you think I'm spending all my money? I want to save your country. I'd spend $40 million. I'm the American dream on steroids. I'm the American dream on steroids.
What is up, chat? How is everybody doing? Sorry, we're just letting everyone get in here. The debate is tomorrow night, Thursday at about, well, let's check the time real quick. What time is the debate tomorrow? The event starts at 9 p.m. Eastern time, so that's 8 o'clock my time. Yeah, if you guys like that loading screen, credit to my friend who made it, Logan and Jaden. They made a Mike Lindell song. But the purpose of today's live stream is essentially to prepare for the debate tomorrow. We're going to go through some of the 2020 debate and see how that went. We're going to come up with some attacks we think that President Biden's going to use and some attacks that we think Donald Trump is going to use. And yeah, I have some ideas on where things are going to go, but I really do want to hear from you guys. To the people saying that I should cover the debate live, we really want to. But CNN has blocked access from all digital media. Any YouTube channel, anything like that, you will get your channel taken down if you cover it. So it's really unfortunate that it's like that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. No audience, so we could just take notes as we're researching throughout the stream. Anything you guys want to say in the chat, I can add to my notes. If you guys have any ideas, just put my name in the message and I'll see it. What's up, Misty? What's up, Fat Salvador? What's up, Angelic Queen? How is everybody doing tonight? So I have some ideas for this debate. I have some ideas on how things are going to go. Sorry, debate tomorrow night. CNN will stream the debate live. It'll be on, I think, the CNN live channel, and then also HBO Max is how I was told to watch it. If you have HBO Max, then you can watch it there. Yep, I'll be live right after the debate, guys. Don't miss it. I'll be live immediately after the debate. So, no audience. We think this benefits President Biden because Trump often plays to a crowd. Sorry, I'm having trouble typing right now. See, 2016, 2020, which we're about to watch in a second. Mic muted when the other speaks. Okay. What's up, Ruben? I'm from Indiana, but I live in Chicago now. But hello from Indiana. So will Jon Stewart. So unfortunately, I will be watching him. That is fine. That is all cool. I like Jon Stewart a lot. I would be watching him if I didn't go live after. So, yeah. So for my plans for this live stream, essentially, I've already said this, but for the new people, I want to cover some of the 2020 debates so we know what to expect. I want to take some notes on what we think the candidates are going to attack each other over. And I have some good ideas over what they're going to attack each other on, but, yeah, Donald yapping away with his mic muted will be gold. I'm worried about Trump trying to come off as moderate and tempered as possible. Actually, Misty Baylock, I completely agree. I think Donald Trump is taking this campaign a lot more seriously than he took his 2020 campaign or even 2016. Obviously, he took them seriously, but we saw in the 2020 debates, he came off incredibly strong during this first debate that I have pulled up right here. And then if you watch the second debate, there is a noticeable, demonstrable difference between the way Donald Trump is acting. Obviously, his advisors told him to chill the hell out. And I think that we're going to see something similar in this debate. I think Donald Trump is going to be a little bit more chill, but he's naturally just more unhinged. Let me 1 second. Let me run a poll real quick. Cool. So I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you guys think. So to start this off, let's talk about some of the attacks that I think the candidates will use against each other. So what's up, Lupe? So when it comes to, let's start off with Trump. And Trump is incredibly predictable. So, Trump's attacks. I think a big clippable moment for Donald Trump will be if he is able to attack Biden on Laken Riley and immigration. This is something that I've been thinking about a lot. So as far as immigration, Trump is most likely... Why can't I type? A lot of people are saying that Trump won't show up, but I genuinely think he will. I've been saying this for a few weeks now, but I think Donald Trump's ego won't let him drop out. I think he's absolutely going to show up. I think he's sort of gaslit himself into thinking that President Biden is incredibly senile. I think he's kind of huffing his own paint a little bit there, huffing his own farts or whatever. He definitely thinks that he's just going to wipe the floor with Biden when that is not really possible. Or it's not really going to happen. So Trump is most likely going to be Laken Riley to try to blame her death on Biden. Trump is going to claim the border has been open since Biden took office. What is senile? It's when somebody's so old that they're just incoherent. That's what basically Republicans think that Joe Biden is, but he's not. He's not whatsoever. Oh yeah, of course Trump doesn't actually care about Laken Riley. Trump doesn't actually care about the border whatsoever. He only cares about his chances of re-election. So when Donald Trump says he cares about the border and then he nukes a border bill when Congress is about to pass it, he clearly does not care. But so far, I think we're on the right track when it comes to Trump's attacks on Biden immigration-wise. Remember, feel free to throw any more ideas in the chat, and I could add them to the stock if I think they're good enough. If he comes to Biden about immigration, Biden just has to answer the undocumented people came in on his watch. Yeah, I'm just trying to think, what's a convincing response from Biden when Donald Trump inevitably launches an attack on immigration and says Laken Riley's name, tries to pin her death on Biden? What does Biden say in response that can convince the average person watching? That is how we have to think about this. We're already locked into politics. We already know for an absolute fact that Donald Trump made sure Congress didn't pass that border bill. But what about the average voter? Would they find that argument convincing? Because I'm not sure. If I wasn't paying attention to politics at all and I trusted Donald Trump and I heard President Biden say, oh, but there was a bill and you shot it down, that wouldn't make much sense to me. Even though it's true, I'm just thinking about if I didn't pay attention to politics much. Yeah, the Migrant Fight League. Well, I guess we can also make a chart or a section for Biden's attacks. And I have a few good ideas for how Biden's going to attack Trump as well. I was thinking about this last night. Thank you guys for all joining me. Hope everyone had a great day. How did everyone's day go? Let me know in chat while I'm writing this all down. I will definitely be going live more, guys. I'll be going live a lot more. Tomorrow is basically, people are saying tomorrow is the start of the campaigns. Obviously not literally, but tomorrow, once the two go up there and debate, election season has essentially officially started. So I'm going to be going live basically every single day that I can, maybe every other day, but I'm going to be going live as much as I possibly can. If you don't follow politics, then does it really matter what Trump or Biden says? Yes, in this case, yeah, because a lot of people are going to be watching this debate that don't pay attention to politics whatsoever. Maybe a lot of independent voters. They're going to be looking to see which candidate they like more. And if Trump has credible attacks on Biden about the border or inflation, then that could change people's minds. Obviously, Biden is correct on all of these issues. Right now, we're just talking about the optics of it all. What attacks can they launch? Everyone had a good day. What's up from Norway? Oh yeah. Great point. Sarah said Biden needs to call him out about Roe v. Wade. I mean, that's going to be like the biggest attack, right? Talking about Roe v. Wade will be massive. One second. Let me flip these around. Oops, sorry. 1 second, guys. There we go. What's up, all my Indiana people? Yeah, again, the debate is tomorrow. Sorry, I just had to switch around this so you guys can see the notes that I'm taking. So when it comes to Biden's attacks, actually, let's put this first because I honestly think it's more important. Okay, so obviously the big one is abortion, but I think we should get to that after. I think we should work our way there. So a few of these attacks that I've been thinking of that Biden can really hammer home on. Number one, Biden really needs to get Trump to say on stage, what's up, Midas Cheryl? Thank you for the donut. You said, keep up the great work, Adam. I love your videos and what you're doing. You're amazing, especially at your age. A credit to your generation. Thank you. I'm trying to get Gen Z more engaged with politics. A lot of people my age are so disillusioned with politics. They think that both sides are the same, which is obviously not true. So being able to tell them why it isn't in a very concise way is incredibly important. Where is Melania? Asking for Donald. It's a funny question, but Biden should not say a single thing about Melania on stage. That is a no-go. I feel like that's just not a good attack. So get Trump to say on stage the 2020 election was stolen. From there, Biden needs to point out that Donald Trump thinks everything is rigged. His court cases, the elections, even the Emmys. I think it was the Emmys or the Oscars. Every single thing that Donald Trump participates in that he doesn't win, he thinks is rigged, and Joe Biden really, really needs to hammer that home. Yeah, obviously convictions. We're going to add that too. We're getting to the big ones. But what do you guys think about this? If Biden can get Trump to say on stage that the 2020 election was stolen, I think immediately Biden needs to be like, this is a man who thinks that everything is stolen. Back in 2012, he thought the Emmys were rigged. He thought that the primaries were rigged in 2016. He thought the general election was rigged in 2016. He created a task force to search for election fraud. Then he disbanded that task force quietly when they found nothing. He called the 2020 election rigged. He called his court cases rigged. This is a man who undermines our legal and judicial system, our elections, every single step of the way. And the fact that people still trust this man does not make sense whatsoever. So I think that is actually a very, very coherent attack for Biden. I think that would be a really, really good thing to get him. Someone said, didn't Hillary already try that? Definitely. Hillary said something very, very similar, but this was before he publicly said the election was rigged in front of the entire country. So now that the country is familiar with his tactics of calling everything rigged, it should be a lot more potent. Let me see. This is actually a great clip from Hillary right here.
I know it's late, and you all...
Sorry about that, the ad. Okay, next, before we get down to the abortion and convictions, immunity is good too. Keep dropping stuff in chat. Will Biden discuss Project 2025? I was talking about this with a friend earlier. If anything, he'll drop the name really quickly and tell people to Google it. But I think Biden name-dropping Project 2025 would be massive. But watch, Biden needs to do something exactly like this on stage. Biden needs to, honestly, I wouldn't even be mad if he just took Hillary's words verbatim and just resaid. Obviously, Biden can't do that. But Biden should absolutely say something to this effect.
You know, every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against him. The FBI conducted a year-long investigation into my emails. They concluded there was no case. He said the FBI was rigged. He lost the Iowa caucus. He lost the Wisconsin primary. He said the Republican primary was rigged against him. Then Trump University gets sued for fraud and racketeering. He claims the court system and the federal judge is rigged against him. There was even a time when he didn't get an Emmy for his TV program 3 years in a row, and he started tweeting that the Emmys were rigged against him.
Should have gotten it.
This is a mindset. This is how Donald thinks. And it's funny, but it's also really troubling.
Okay.
You know, that is not the way our democracy works.
Jesse Langland said, dude, you and Luke Beasley should team up. Luke Beasley and I are good friends. Luke Beasley is a good friend of mine. We might do some Trump rally content together. I can text him about it. Someone said, your content is excellent. You're amazing now. I look forward to following you in the future. Thank you. I'm excited to. So essentially, Biden needs a moment exactly like this. Can you use more complex words so Trump can't steal your game plan? Exactly. Yeah, so Hillary called it word for word right here. She said, Donald Trump thinks everything is rigged. And I think if Joe Biden has a moment like that where he can tell the American people, do you really want someone who undermines our system every step of the way, calls everything rigged against him, the Emmys, the caucuses, the court cases, everything, I think that'll be a really, really powerful point. Someone said, Adam, remember in your debates that on January 6th, Trump said peacefully walk down one time only, but use the word fight or must fight, go fight 34 times. That's a really good point, actually. He used the word peaceful once and fight 34 times. I think, honestly, I really hate when people try to use, not you, but I hate when Trump supporters try to take Trump's speech at the ellipse and act like that happened in a vacuum and that's all we can talk about. Donald Trump spent months, he spent maybe even a year leading up to the election calling it rigged over and over. He constantly used this apocalyptic rhetoric about our institutions. There's no surprise whatsoever when his supporters walk from his rally to the Capitol and try to break in. So yeah, that's a good point. Donald Trump, even in that rally, he used wild rhetoric. Adam Kinzinger told me that every time he mentioned Mike Pence, people got more violent. And when he finally sent this tweet saying Mike Pence didn't do what he should have been, what he should have done, you can see a direct acceleration of violence in that exact moment. The exact moment that Donald Trump sent out that tweet, violence accelerated. So his rhetoric absolutely does. And I could show you guys some new MAGA debates I have in my folder. But yeah, I think this is a really, really good point that Biden needs to make. Something else that Biden needs to talk about. Get Donald Trump to admit he's going to slash the Department of Education's funding by, I think it was 50%. Let me look this up. He wants to close the Department of Education. Okay, I thought he had some, I've listened to one of his speeches. He had some crazy idea. I know that they've been wanting to do this. Does he want to slash the funding or close it? Let me know in the chat. We can. Either way, this point still stands. Get Donald Trump to admit that on stage. He wants to eliminate. That's even better for President Biden. Okay, my bad. Get Donald Trump to admit. Get Donald Trump to admit that he wants to close the Department of Education. If you can get Donald Trump to admit that on stage, Biden then can, and the Department of Commerce, we'll get there. Biden then needs to highlight the consequences, the real life, everyday consequences of closing the Department of Education, because that would be wild. And eliminate the EPA. Remember that. I'll write that down in a bit. He wanted to close another branch. Yeah, he wants to close everything. But this isn't even like this. Oh, did I say DOE? This isn't even a joke. This part is wild to me, because if Biden can point out the consequences, let's go through some of them right now. If Biden can point out the consequences of closing the Department of Education, let me see. All right. This would, let's think about it. It sounds pretty fascist, yeah. And, okay, yeah, Biden needs to mention, we'll get to Project 2025. Even if Biden just name drops Project 2025, that would be awesome. Okay, so this would disproportionately impact I don't even care if I spell things wrong, low-income students. Why can't I spell anything? Disproportionately impact low-income students. Deny students access to updated curriculum and technology. Yeah, I know. I'm just typing really fast right now. What else would it do? Well, obviously, my mic is rocking back and forth. I got you. 1 second. Climate change. We'll get there. Nah, they're not closing down education. They're closing. Donald Trump wants to close down the Department of Education. Let me see. What did Sarah say? This would result in teacher layoffs, salary cuts for teachers who are already in a terrible position. Not terrible position, but a lot of teachers are already not paid a fair share. Let's say decline in educational quality. Nice to see you, Vincent. What's up? We get paid so bad in Hawaii. Yeah, teachers across the country really lost respect among allies. Yeah, that's a good one. On a global stage, we would become less competitive, right? Make America a less competitive nation on the global stage. Less education equals less innovation. Scroll up for a quick second on here. That last one is credit to G Coffee, negatively impact parents. Okay, so we have enough points. So basically, the entire reason I typed all that out is because I think there's a really valuable moment here. So the first thing Biden needs to do is get Donald Trump to admit on stage he wants to eliminate the Department of Education. He could do this in a few ways. You could just straight up ask him, what is your plan for the Department of Education? You could say, do you plan to eliminate the Department of Education? And if Donald Trump can admit this on stage, if you can get a moment of him admitting it, then Biden needs to lay out the consequences cleanly of what that would be. Biden's very empathetic, and one of his strong suits the last debate was looking into the camera and talking to the people. He should look into the camera and say, if Donald Trump gets back into office and gets his way, you just heard him say he wants to eliminate the Department of Education. What this would do is it would disproportionately impact low-income students. I'm just reading off the list we just wrote. This would deny students access to updated curriculum and updated technology. Teachers would be laid off. Someone in chat, they said it would expand wealth inequality. Of course, America would be less competitive on the world stage because we would be less innovative. Slashing funding to the Department of Education would negatively impact Americans all across the country, and would negatively impact America's standing on the world stage. So right there, yeah, someone said that's a bonus for Trump supporters. They don't care about the Department of Education. Yeah, but a lot of people do. A lot of people, when they hear the Department of Education is going to be eliminated, if you have kids or you plan on having kids or you work in the school system or whatever, you're going to think that is terrible. So I think this is another really, really strong point for Biden. Someone said, where are the Meidas cultists out? Where's my Meidas Mighty out here? But yeah, do you guys agree on that point? I'm just making sure you guys agree on everything so far. So far, talk about the election being stolen. Get Trump to admit he wants to eliminate the Department of Education. We're going a little bit deeper. We'll go to the easy ones later, like abortion. Abortion will be a pretty, Adam, you are smart, but just a kiddo. Are you going to debate people outside? No, I wasn't planning on showing up to the debate. I honestly don't even know where it is, but, we could, we'll do a live stream right after the debate. We'll be live. We'll be talking. Anyone know where the debate's taking place, location-wise? Honestly, I don't know that. Hell yeah, the Meidas Mighty's here. It's in Atlanta, is that true? Okay. Thanks, I didn't know that, actually. New poll. Will you be streaming more often? Much more often. Yeah. I plan on going live a lot more as the election goes up. I can't go live during the debate, unfortunately. I mean, unless you guys, like, there's a few ways I could do it. If I go live during the debate, and if I show the debate on my screen, my YouTube channel will genuinely get taken down or demonetized. Like, I won't be able to do YouTube anymore. So either I can live stream myself just sitting here talking and we can all watch the debate separately, or I can just go live after the debate and talk to you guys about it. I'll be taking notes during the debate if we do it that way. But I mean, there's a way where I just sit here and I watch it and we all watch it on a second screen, but that would be kind of like what if there's a 5-second delay and then I say something before it happens on your screen? Yeah, I don't know. Well, I can pull you guys. Let me see. Like, would that even be worth it? I just want to pull you guys real quick. I think live after the debate. Yeah, I don't want to get my channel taken down, honestly. Yeah, after the debate, I agree. I don't think we want to be watching the debate and then you want to be like paying attention to me on the second screen. I don't think that makes sense. But okay, let's go back to the debate tomorrow. I'm just trying to write this all down so we can see how, I want to be prepared. I want to take my nerves away, so I'm getting everything cleanly laid out. I also want to see how much we're right on. Like, could you imagine if Biden goes on stage and just perfectly executes these attacks that we're writing out? That'd be pretty cool. Okay, you guys have a clear answer. I'm going to go back to this other poll. Okay, that's settled. We'll go live after the debate.
Nominated Amy Coney Barrett over the so we, and more importantly you, can focus on what the candidates have to say. No noise except right now as we welcome the Republican nominee, President Trump. and the Democratic nominee, Vice President Biden.
He's so funny. Wait, sorry, I'm going back.
How you doing, man? How are you? I'm well.
I remember this vividly. Do you guys remember watching these two walk out about 4 years ago? And just like, I remember vividly where I was. I was back home in Indiana. We were watching this. My whole family was watching this. I remember the moment we saw them both walk on stage. My mind was blown because these people have been taking digs at each other for months. Seeing them both on stage together was wild. And the first thing Biden says is, "How you doing, man?" Or like, "What's up, man?" He's just so friendly. Biden does this thing where he's like, "What's up?" I love when he does that. Yeah.
Gentlemen, a lot of people have been waiting for this night, so let's get going. Our first...
Just so you guys know, this is last year's debate. I need to put this title because people think this is right now. This is not right now.
Subject is the Supreme Court. President Trump, you nominated Amy Coney Barrett over the weekend to succeed the late
We're not watching the full debate. We're just, aren't you guys curious
Ruth
about...
Bader Ginsburg on the court. You say the Constitution is clear about your obligation and the Senate's to consider a nominee to the court. Vice President Biden, you say that this is an effort by the president and Republicans to jam through an appointment and what you call an abuse of power. My first question to both of you tonight, why are you right in the argument you make and your opponent wrong? And where do you think a Justice Barrett would take the court? President Trump, in this first segment, you go first, 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chris. I will tell you very simply, we won the election. Elections have consequences. We have the Senate, we have the White House, and
I can promise you Donald Trump is not going to be nearly as coherent in this debate tomorrow. Literally not even nearly as coherent. We'll go back to that. We'll watch this as we go, just so we can have a... What were each of you doing on January 6, 2021? I think I was in school. I think I was still in high school. It was my senior year. I remember we were talking about it in class. I think my teacher was downplaying it and we were debating about it. I used to debate the hell out of my teachers. You guys probably know that. Yeah, I used to debate my teachers a lot. I got kicked out of class in 5th grade. This is not a made-up story. I got kicked out of the classroom in 5th grade because I was debating my Christian teacher about gay marriage. It was right around the time the Supreme Court legalized it. And he thought that gay people chose, therefore they shouldn't have the right to get married because it was a choice. I don't even know. I think my arguments were terrible because I was like 11 years old, but I genuinely got kicked out of class. Okay. Where should we go next? Let's go back to Trump's attacks. This is going to be a hard one. This is going to be a rough one. Inflation. How does Biden combat inflation or Trump's inflation attacks? Because I think that's going to be really... let me see. I can barely sleep this week waiting for the event. Yeah, I know. We're all a little bit nervous. That's why I'm doing this live stream, because we can probably map this debate out pretty well in our head. Like, we won't know exactly what's going to happen, but I bet we can come up with a lot of the attacks, a lot of the topics. When do you think Trump will pick his VP? Apparently, he's already chosen it in his head. And it's like either like 3 people. It's either Doug Burgum, J.D. Vance. Who was the other one that he was... Was it Byron Donalds? There was one more that he was heavily considering. I think it's going to be J.D. Vance or Doug Burgum, right? I think it's basically like going to be one of those two. Here's a prediction. Trump will back out. Oh, yeah, Rubio. Marco Rubio is super, super... popular among... Basically, Trump did this fundraiser and he handed out polls to the people that were there, and Rubio won the polling of the people that are donators to Donald Trump. So right now, all of Trump's biggest donators want Rubio. They want Marco Rubio. So it definitely could be Rubio. And Rubio actually had some pretty good digs on Donald Trump during the 2016 primary debates. I was rewatching those recently, and Marco Rubio low-key really roasted Donald Trump. Maybe we'll watch that in a bit. I don't want to keep pulling stuff up. So inflation. Donald Trump is going to claim that the economy was booming under him. We saw the lowest black unemployment in the history of America. Oh, true. With Marco Rubio. Yeah, that would be two people from Florida, right? And usually you don't want the president and VP to be from the same state. Yep, good point, Heather. But like, is this a good point for Biden to say on stage? So this is a good point that Heather just made. America has the lowest inflation in the world, which that is true. But does Biden want to start saying, so here's the problem. I talked about this last live stream. When you talk to people about the economy, you can throw out a lot of statistics, but a lot of times it won't map on to their day-to-day experiences. So if I'm talking to a MAGA supporter and this MAGA supporter says, things have just gotten more expensive for me, it's harder for me to go to the grocery store and pay for stuff. If I just start throwing statistics out at them, like, oh, but real wage growth is actually outpacing inflation, you're so dumb, it's going to feel like I'm undermining their lived experiences and I don't actually care about the economy, which I do. Inflation sucks. I feel, everybody feels inflation. It absolutely sucks. So you need to find a way to tactfully bring it up without undermining people's corporate greed is a good one. Yeah, corporate greed is a good framework. So America has the lowest inflation in the world. Corporations are seeing record profits and are price gouging citizens. Biden then someone predicted Doug Burgum will be his VP pick. Right now, I'm just, it's kind of messy, but I'm mapping out responses for people. So with Trump's attacks, he's going to attack him on inflation. And, what's it called? Biden needs to respond. I need to find a better way to, like, map out Biden's responses. But so far, it's okay. Let's run a poll real quick. Who do you guys think is going to be the VP? Thank you for the dono, Jeff. Oh my gosh, I appreciate that more than you know. Wow. Okay, new poll up. Who will Trump's VP be? Right now, there's a lot of Burgum-mentum, is what they call it. Burgum momentum. Burgum. Thank you so much, Jeff R. Spam some hearts if you can for Jeff R. Thank you so much. I don't think he's gonna pick Vivek. People keep saying Vivek's name. I could be totally wrong. This would be totally embarrassing if he announces that it's Vivek like tomorrow. But I doubt he's going to choose Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. I think right now it's between Burgum and J.D. Vance. The reason I don't think he's going to pick Vivek, I guess it could be Tim Scott. I know I'm leaving out a bunch of names, but right now I'm just giving you the big three that Donald Trump has been considering. But when it comes to Vivek Ramaswamy, I followed him around a lot during the Iowa caucuses. I've met him many times. I know a lot about Vivek. I can say some of Vivek's speeches word for word. It's so mind-numbing the way that guy speaks. But number one, when you pick a VP, you want to pick someone who's either a little bit more moderate than you or someone who can appeal to voters that you can't appeal to. So a lot of people have been telling Donald Trump to pick somebody like Tim Scott so he can appeal to black voters, or before it was Kristi Noem so he can appeal to women voters. Someone like Vivek is literally just a MAGA Trump light. He is just literally just a copycat of Donald Trump. And if you think about the way, who was it? Was it, 1 second, Ann Coulter. It was Ann Coulter said that she wouldn't vote for Vivek because he's Indian. I think that Donald Trump doesn't want to risk picking an Indian VP, number one, because of Ann Coulter's remarks. But number two, it just won't, it won't appeal to a different portion of voters. Can he pick a family member? Trump won't pick a family member. I doubt it. He's not going to pick Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think Vivek will be better as a, well, from Trump's point of view, Vivek will be better as someone in his cabinet. Hannibal Lecter, yeah, he'll probably pick Hannibal Lecter as his VP, or maybe that shark that almost ate him in a cage, right? Okay, let's get back to this. Seth Meyers said Doug Burgum sounds like an exclamation people make when they're upset. We should start doing that. You stub your toe, you're like, Doug Burgum. It really does sound like a made-up name, not, or like from like a South Park TV show or something. I don't know. Michael Cohen. Nah, he's gonna pick a mirror as his VP. He won't pick. I think he ruled out Nikki Haley, bro. If he picked Nikki Haley, though, we would be really, we would be in a little bit of trouble because, like, I just feel like he would win over a lot of those voters that we've worked so hard to lose, or to at least gain, like the January 6th people. We've worked so hard to make sure that those people either aren't voting or they're voting blue or they're just not voting for Trump. So I feel like him picking Nikki would be, yeah. Doc in Paradise. I just, chat moves fast sometimes. I can't read all of them. By the way, guys, if you do @Adam Mockler and tag me in it, I'm much more likely to see your guys' message because, the ad in it like lights up the whole message for me. So yeah, he's gonna pick someone that's blindly loyal, probably a JD Vance or Doug Burgum. If he picks Haley, that would be a smart move, like Just Alpha said, but Donald Trump seems way too vindictive to pick Nikki Haley. If he does, we should be a tiny bit worried about a Nikki Haley because that's a pretty good VP pick. He'll pick Dr. Ronnie Jackson or Ronnie Johnson, like as Donald Trump calls him. Yeah. Do you really think he will show for the debate? Let's have a poll. Okay, we'll pull that. I did the same poll last time I went live, and it was about like 50-50, I think. I absolutely think that Donald Trump will show up. I think he's totally going to show up. I think we're 24 hours out. If he was going to drop out, if he drops out now, it's a huge mess. It is a huge, huge mess. But I don't want to poison the well. Vote how you truly believe. Yeah, Trump is most likely, in my opinion, going to show up. If he did a last-minute ditch, that would be terrible for his campaign. He should have, if he was going to drop out, he would have done it like a week ago. He'll show up. He'll complain about being there, like you said. He'll act like it's rigged against him, which is another good point up here. Get Trump to say on stage that the 2020 election was stolen. Biden then needs to point out that Donald Trump thinks everything is rigged. His court cases, the elections, the Emmys, even this debate is part of that. I'm gonna add that because Trump has repeatedly called this debate rigged. So that's gonna be a really good point. Your MAGA celebrity video recently was chaotic and well done. Much respect. Thank you. Maybe we'll watch that on stream. I'd totally be down to watch that video where Brian Glenn and Forgiato Blow are getting in my face. That'd be a fun one to react to. So it looks like everybody does think, or the vast majority of people do think that Trump's going to show up. I totally agree. I think he will. I think it's way too late for him. Someone said he might walk out in the middle. See, that would just be such bad optics for the Trump campaign. Chance of him walking out, no. See, we're kind of doing the thing that Republicans are doing. So when I went to my MAGA rally on if he walked out, that would genuinely like be almost the end of his campaign. I know people say that all the time, but that would be such a viral, clippable moment. Like Donald Trump can't even handle Joe Biden. How is he going to handle Vladimir Putin? Here's the thing that we shouldn't do. Yeah, no, you don't walk out of a debate. Here's the thing that we shouldn't do. So when I went to a MAGA rally on Saturday, the one where all those people got in my face, a lot of them were setting the expectations for Joe Biden so low. They set the bar for Joe Biden so low that Joe Biden just has to walk on stage and walk over that bar and he's already fine. He just has to not collapse on stage. So we should try not to try not to set the bar so low for Donald Trump that we'll be disappointed. So like the bar that we're setting, we're saying, well, that's, yeah, exactly. It's good that they're setting the bar low, but I worry when I see people saying that either Donald Trump's gonna no-show, he's gonna walk out on stage, he's gonna ramble and puke all over himself or whatever. It's like, okay, we shouldn't set expectations that low. We should try to be realistic. Donald Trump's most likely going to show up. He's probably not going to walk on stage. Yeah, I could see him throwing a tantrum on stage. I could see him freaking out and saying that everything's rigged against him. But the idea that he's going to walk on stage halfway through, I think is that's setting a pretty low bar. And yeah, I get what you guys are saying. Reality is the low bar for sure, but it's like, yeah. Midas Cheryl, I just modded you because my other mod couldn't make it today. And I trust you. Do what you need to. Yep, I think this comment is great by Kaleria, sorry, I'm bad at pronouncing names. We don't need to set the bar low like they do. He'll show up, do his usual incoherent ranting and accusing, and try to talk over everyone like usual, even with the mics muted. I think that is probably the best prediction so far. We don't need to set the bar low. He'll show up, he'll rant, he'll say his normal stuff. We can guess his talking points. That's basically what we're doing already. We're guessing the talking points, which we know that he's going to say... We had the lowest black employment under Donald Trump. He's going to say Laken Riley. He's going to say that name, I bet. What else? I had a few other ones in mind. I was thinking about this earlier. I had a lot of stuff in mind that Trump was going to... I guess we can go up here to Donald Trump's convictions. Let's go back to the Biden section for a bit. Okay. President Biden needs to call Donald Trump a convicted felon at least twice, at least 2 times. If he can just do it twice, that would be great, right? I've been saying Laken Riley. It's Laken Riley. If we had a debate pool, what are the odds? What's the over-under on Donald Trump bringing up Hannibal Lecter during the debate? I really hope he does the shark thing. I really hope he goes into a shark tangent. That'd be great. Will CNN ask about Project 2025? I doubt it. I highly doubt CNN will ask about it. If anything, the onus is on President Biden to bring up Project 2025. Yeah, we could watch this one.
If you're a business owner...
Oh, shit, sorry. We could watch this one in a bit. This one was wild. This was a wild interaction. Oh, my God.
All 34 counts. What did you think?
And I'm actually really happy with how this interaction went with Brian Glenn because usually it doesn't happen that cleanly. He rage quit so quickly. We'll go back to this. I don't want to jump around too much. Let's stick to the debate. Yeah, this was absolutely brain rot. And I always wonder, like, is it hard to listen to these things, just hearing everybody screaming the whole time? Because it's like, I think I give a decent performance, but like, there's a point where you just hear so many people just yelling. It's like a massive crowd of people. Yeah, it's wild. But Biden needs to stay honorable. Yep, one of my friends asked me about this earlier. He asked if I agree with Michelle Obama saying they go low, we go high, if President Biden should take that approach. I think Biden should largely go high. I think that he should not take any, like someone said, bring up Melania. I don't think he should bring up Melania. That's what I was saying. It's so chaotic sometimes that it's like sometimes it's hard for me to edit it. I'm like, why is it so chaotic? Yeah, keep it policy driven. Will President Biden as a civilly liable rapist. My prediction for that is no. I don't think Biden will go that hard. I can maybe make this document that I'm typing out public too if you guys want to be looking at this through the debate. I don't know if it's really that good. We're kind of just going through like random basic stuff. No, he won't refer to Trump as a rapist. Nah, he should. Yeah, he absolutely should, but that's going to be, I couldn't see those words coming out of Biden's mouth. Biden should open with intent to unseal the Epstein files before the election. That would rattle the shit out of Donald. It would, but like that's very gimmicky. We don't want it to be that gimmicky. All Trump needs to do is talk about inflation. That's what I'm worried about too, Steady Eddie. I'm totally, yeah. Oh yeah, we haven't even brought up, like, he needs to bring up January 6th / election interference. That'll be a good one. Yeah, that's something so when it comes to inflation, let's come up with a satisfying response for President Biden, because I want to know like how they're prepping him for that. So far for inflation, we have Donald Trump is going to claim that the economy was booming under him, that we saw the lowest black unemployment in the history of America, and that Biden has ruined the economy. Now you could say America has the lowest inflation in the world, but this is not a good response because Biden doesn't want to be seen as undermining the struggles of Americans. And this is very true. This is something that I've had to, it's very hard to argue about inflation because like I used to just drop stats, be like, we have the lowest inflation in the world. We have we are outpacing inflation with wage growth, but it's like, I don't know. Someone said I disagree. Biden should make fun of him a little bit. Absolutely. Biden needs to make fun of him, but calling him a rapist or like a civilly liable rapist is probably not going to happen. Should Biden bring up January 6th? Biden should absolutely bring up January. If Biden doesn't bring up January 6th, he is genuinely missing they have to be prepping him for that. They have to be prepping him for that. 4 years ago, 300,000 deaths from COVID. Honestly, I don't know if Biden should bring up COVID. It's kind of old news. I think you can touch on it. I think you need to touch on Donald Trump's terrible handling of COVID. But if Biden spends more than like a minute on COVID, it's going to kind of feel like he's latching on to the 2020 election when in reality, this is a referendum on President Biden's. Biden will bring up Roe v. Wade. Yeah, we have a section up here for that. Abortion. We're going to get into that. Biden's going to cook. Oh, yeah, this is going to be great. Biden's going to do well. Biden's going to do really well. Like, the expectations for him are so low. I've already said this, that he literally just has to walk on stage and step over this bar that they set for him, and he'll be fine. VP Lauren Boebert, no, I doubt it. I don't think they're not going to. No, it's not going to be some person like that. It's going to be someone that's like relatively moderate that most Americans can maybe sort of like resonate with. Like a JD Vance seems like a normal guy. Lauren Boebert's not a normal person. Biden needs to talk about the infrastructure bill. Absolutely. When it comes to inflation, we can put that, or I guess we could just add a whole other Biden's accomplishments. Tim Scott VP. I could see it. I'm not doubting Tim Scott at all. The format is good for Biden. Yeah, that's how we started off. So we started off highlighting no audience. Mic's muted when the other speaks. I think there was another piece of it that I can't remember. Yeah, Biden will definitely pick. No, Trump's not going to choose his son as VP. Maybe like a cabinet position. Yep, directly ask him about his healthcare plan. Or, a better way to word that, Trump would strip healthcare. We're basically just acting like if we were in that room right now at Camp David with Biden and his advisors, what would we be prepping them on and preparing for? That's basically the angle of this stream, just figuring out what's going to happen. Also, it's kind of calming. Like, I was a little bit nervous this morning. It's calming my nerves thinking about this. Yeah. Healthcare bill is coming in 2 weeks. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. You know Trump will bring up the border. Biden needs to respond that Trump made Congress tank it. I was thinking about that, but like, how convincing of an argument is that? Is that really a convincing argument? Because it's like, how I view it is, you're the president of the United States, and you're going to blame it Okay, I just want to start off by saying Donald Trump absolutely nuked that border bill. It was totally Donald Trump's fault because they had a perfectly good bill, or a pretty decent bill, that would provide more funding to asylum judges, more funding to Border Patrol agents. They all signed on. But if Biden uses that, I think that would be sort of a weak answer. I don't know. Because how I'm picturing it in my head is Biden says, oh, Laken Riley died because of you, because of your open border policy. And if Joe Biden responds, actually, the border is open because of you, because you nuked a bill that Congress was about to pass, people will be like, but Biden, you're the president, right? Biden, like, why is Biden deflecting blame on somebody who's not even in power right now? I absolutely think that that could backfire, but we're going to write that down just to see. So Trump is most likely going to bring up Laken Riley. Trump is going to claim the border has been wide open since Biden took office. How does Biden respond? Biden could point out, obviously the border is not open. I'm just saying this is what Trump's going to claim at least. Texas is reporting high infant mortality. That's a great point. Yeah, the Border Patrol Union all endorsed this bill. I remember that. It was like 18,000 or maybe 17,000. Yeah, the Border Patrol agents, they all backed it. And that's a good point. It's a good talking point. But how are they going to spin that is what I'm wondering. Kids in cages, yeah. Biden could point to the fact that Donald Trump nuked a border bill that was being drafted. But is that a strong point optically? Does it look like Biden is deflecting blame when he's the president? Do you guys get what I'm saying here? Because, like, we obviously all agree that Donald Trump nuked the border bill, but how does Biden tiptoe around that? Yeah, I'm not sure he'll bring that up. It just seems like he will make higher wages and cheaper health care. Yeah. Bipartisan bill. Yeah. That's a good point. He can blame it on the Republican Congress. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like that's a sticky situation for Biden. Because, Biden just did. Biden can point to his recent executive order, but Trump is just going to say, you stole that executive order from me. I think it'll come up. Otherwise, how will he defend what Trump says about the border? He needs to have Trump almost admit he tanked it, since he's been pretty open about it. Now that would be a massive win right there. He should deflect the blame exactly where it belongs. Yeah, of course he should. But see, now if let's put this in a list right here. Can Biden get Trump to openly admit on stage that he was the one who nuked the border bill? Dude, that would be a massive win right there. Can Biden get Trump to admit openly that he nuked the border bill? Then Biden is free to deflect blame and point out that Trump doesn't care about the border. Yeah, I was reading your comment, Angelic Queen. I was reading someone's comment. That's a really good idea. Trump absolutely nuked the border bill. Yep, we'll go down to Roe v. Wade next. Okay, let's do Roe v. Wade really quickly. Yeah, that would be big, guys. That would be big. Could you imagine if Trump could admit on stage, basically, no opening statement? Interesting. I guess I kind of like that. Oh, and I believe Trump goes last. Trump has closing statement. I think I just remember that. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so get Trump. Can Biden get Trump to openly admit? Yeah, Biden's gonna have to be tough. So like, how I'm seeing the strategy play out so far, the debate is tomorrow, guys. The debate is tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central Time, I believe. That's right. So like the strategy that I'm seeing so far play out is that Biden has to get Trump to admit things on stage. He has to play off of Trump's impulsivity. Let me just write this down just to see if any of this plays out. There was one more. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna live stream the night after. So this is how I'm picturing it. If you can get Trump to admit, first of all, you want Trump to say on stage that the 2020 election was stolen. Biden can immediately play off of Trump's words by saying, you think everything is stolen. You guys have watched this man, Donald Trump, claim the election was stolen, claim his court cases were stolen. This is a man baby who thinks that everything against him is rigged, and having someone like this leading the country is a recipe for disaster. Everyone on his cabinet will turn on him, and he will say that everything was rigged. He also needs to ask Trump, would you have supported that border bill that I was about to pass, that Congress was about to pass? If Donald Trump can admit that he nuked that border bill, then the onus can be off of President Biden, and Biden can basically successfully deflect blame right there. That's another good strategy. Regulation cuts that led to the train incident in East Palestine. I don't know if people were, I don't know if anyone will bring that up. He needs to talk about the number of rape victims forced to carry the baby. Yeah, all of that. There's so many good ways. We can go down to abortion for a second. Okay, so President Biden needs, in all caps, needs to highlight that Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices led directly to Roe v. Wade. Overturned. Biden then needs to make an emotional appeal. God damn it. Biden then needs to make an emotional appeal. I'm not using that in a loaded way. Like, he's actually going to appeal to people's emotions by pointing out the consequences of Roe being overturned. Which are, so I think someone pointed this out earlier, wasn't it higher infant mortality in Texas? Let me just fact check that. Yeah, okay. I thought I read an article about that, yeah. Higher infant mortality rate in Texas. This is too normal debate. Yeah, I get that. We're going through all the normal stuff. Use the term women's rights. Yeah, disproportionately. Impact women of color. People will, not people, I guess women will get injured. I guess people will get injured Okay. So far, what we have here for the abortion section, we can clean this up a little bit. But, and remember, guys, feel free to add anything you want in chat. Just add me in chat, add any points. And, yeah, this will be fun to go through this same list. If you guys are here with me now, then tomorrow after the debate, I'll definitely be doing a post-debate live stream. And I'll definitely be going through this list just to see. I mean, most of this stuff could be totally wrong. But right now, I'm just putting myself in the shoes of if I was an advisor for one of these people. Oh, yeah, great point. Thomas Keene. She had to actually cross state lines into Indiana, which is where I'm from. So, I'm gonna put this right here. How was that girl 12? I think she was 12 years old. Let's fact check that. There's so many like random stories. I just have random ages floating around, ages floating in my head. I hate this new Google like AI thing. It's just terrible. Oh, she was 10. Holy fuck, that's terrible. That's not okay. That's fucking awful. That's like way fucking. I mean, that's just like fucking terrible. Sorry. Yeah, that's fucked up. That's terrible. Yeah, I grew up near Northwest Indiana. LGBTQ rights. Yeah, I think Biden should hit home on that, but yeah. That's the first time I've heard you sworn. Yeah, I was taken aback for a second there. I was like, holy, yeah, that's terrible. Let's see. The Indiana Medical Licensing Board decided late Thursday to reprimand and fine a doctor after ruling that she violated patient privacy laws by talking to a newspaper reporter about providing abortion. Okay, that's just like the fallout of the doctor talking about. Yes, Mark Elcock. Yeah. The woman who got arrested for the accidental birth thing. I think this. I remember that story too, but I think this 10-year-old Ohio girl is like the national story that's like way more potent. I think he should bring that up. So, President Biden needs to highlight that Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices led directly to Roe v. Wade being overturned. Biden then needs to make an emotional appeal by pointing out the consequences of Roe being overturned. Higher infant mortality in Texas because of Donald Trump. Disproportionately impact women of color because of Donald Trump. 10-year-old girl had to cross state lines because of Donald Trump. People will get injured trying to perform abortions on themselves. Yeah, the January 6th. Oh my gosh. that's a really good one right there. See, Biden needs to go full debate mode. So like basically like Biden needs, let me put this in all caps again. Biden needs to get Donald Trump to call the J6ers hostages on stage. There's so many ways that Biden can just bait Trump into saying some deranged stuff. I'm working out of Obsidian right now. But there's so many ways for Biden to just debate Trump, right? Can we not say Trump nuked? Yeah, that's kind of scary, sorry. Trump shot down the border bill, we can say that. But lowercase letters when typing Trump's name. It's I can't get into that habit because I type a lot of tweets and stuff. Yep, a perfect platform for Biden to address Project 2025 and Trump's involvement. Even if Biden can just say the name Project 2025, just say that word, that would be great. Yeah, I agree with what this person said. Biden doesn't need to talk about LGBTQ. He already has their votes. Yeah, I think Biden should stay off of any... He should talk about social issues that are really impactful, but I think if Biden leans too much into like some of that stuff, he could he could lose some voters. And he won't lose voters for saying he's pro LGBTQ, but I don't know if he should focus on that. There's just so many more salient attacks that he could launch against Trump. Like, I would rather Biden spend that time trying to bait Trump into saying something crazy about January 6th. Biden needs to get Trump to call the January 6ers hostages on stage. Someone pointed out that Trump says that all the time anyways, but Trump is probably going to go into this debate maybe moderating his rhetoric even in the slightest bit. And if Biden can just bait these deranged phrases out of January 6th, or out of Donald Trump about January 6th, and that J6ers are hostages, once Trump uses extremist rhetoric about the election, about the court case, about January 6th, Biden essentially has him trapped at that point. Because that's just so, like, what do you even... So Donald Trump calls the January 6ers hostages. Biden then has the perfect moment to explain this is not someone who's a patriot. This is somebody who actively boosts up the people who tried to disrupt our peaceful transfer of power. Yeah, like, we need, like, a stand back and stand by moment where Donald Trump is basically confronted on something like that. And when Donald Trump is confronted like that, he defaults to extremist rhetoric. What about global warming and infrastructure? Yeah, we could get there. I mean, global warming just feels like we've attacked Trump so much. I think they debated on that last time, but right now I see the main topics being immigration, abortion, the economy. Maybe Trump's convictions will be a topic. I don't know if they'll CNN probably doesn't want to seem biased, so they probably won't attack. They're going to do like the both sides thing where they don't attack Trump on anything specifically. Call it pollution rather than global warming. Yeah, global warming is actually, I think we all agreed on this years back that climate change is a better way to phrase that. What % of viewers of the debate do you feel will watch without bias or are actually undecided voters? 5%, maybe less, like the smallest amount possible. Literally like 3 to 5%. Most people already have their minds made up, and we're going to go on Twitter and it's going to be everyone's going to be saying that their side won. Remember, guys, feel free to throw me any ideas. If I see one that I like, I'll throw it into the doc. And, yeah, Biden should mention how Trump replaces the national anthem. And, oh, that's a good one, too. So, like, we can almost write Biden's monologue for him. He'll be like, this is a man... I'm not going to actually try to write what he's going to say, because we're going to be very far off. But, like, we can almost write that for him. Like, this is a man... This is some good stuff right here. Hopefully Biden's team is cooking like we are right now. Hopefully they're in the studio right now, cooking up some good talking points in the same way that we are. Healthcare plan in 2 weeks. Yeah, see, like, a lot of this stuff just feels like a repeat, though. Like, I don't know. Personally, from my point of view, I don't want Biden to spend too much time talking about climate change. I mean, of course, I think Biden should take care of climate change. I'm Gen Z. We totally think that it's a big deal. But, like, when they're on the debate stage, I would much rather Biden use that opportunity to bring up something January 6th or election fraud related, or election denialism related. Yeah, we are cooking right here. We've got some good notes so far, actually. I think some of these might hit. I can maybe make these public, too, if anyone has any interest in, like, looking through this during the debate. Yeah, that's the main goal, Doc, in Paradise, is reminding people how terrible of a president Donald Trump was. Yeah, someone said Donald Trump has good strategists, Scaramucci. You might be tongue-in-cheek, but I'm sure Donald Trump is strategizing right now. I'm absolutely sure Donald Trump is strategizing. See ya, Jan. See you tomorrow. January 6th is also what I want to hear about. Yeah, I want to hear about January 6th. I want to hear about Donald Trump undermining our democracy before President Biden starts talking about climate change, or before President Biden starts talking about LGBTQ people. And don't misconstrue my words. I'm not saying that stuff is more important than LGBTQ people. I'm just saying on that debate stage, there are certain topics that President Biden needs to emphasize. Biden needs to speak more aggressively. He tends to be too soft-spoken. Absolutely. Yeah, Trump is watching this right now, taking notes. He's coming up with responses. He's got his own Obsidian notepad and live stream. Call out Trump's court case losses one by one. Yeah, that might take up too much time. I think the better strategy would be what we just watched Hillary do earlier, where she says, one by one basically everything that Donald Trump has called rigged over the past decade. Yeah, global warming is not the main issue. This debate, like this specific debate. It's a big one for the election, but not this debate. Gun control, I think Biden should... I'm not sure if Biden should start talking about gun control on stage, because, like, he can use his normal phrase, which is, like, no country should allow these types of deaths to go on. But, like, you know, Biden talking about gun control on stage, I think only risks us losing more voters. Yeah, no gun control at this debate in particular. And, that doesn't mean we don't care about gun control. Gun control is still a very important issue to a lot of people in my generation. But during this debate, we're talking optics right now. We're talking, yeah, gun control isolates them. We're talking about optically, what are winners? And optically, if Biden can trap Donald Trump and get him to say the election was rigged, I've already said this a few times, Biden can immediately launch on this but he can launch onto a tirade about how Donald Trump thinks everything is rigged against him. Every court case, every election, the Emmys. Yeah, Biden's got to drop numerical facts. That's pretty true. But not about inflation, because I think if Biden starts to get too into the numbers on inflation, it's going to seem like he's undermining the lived experiences of Americans who are struggling. That is a very real risk. We talked about, what about being a rapist? I don't know if Biden should use the word rapist. I don't know if that's a good look on stage. Like, Trump is a rapist, but I don't know if that's a good... Yeah, Trump will pretend to be serious. He'll be trying to use better optics than normal, I think. Oh, yeah, wait, how did we miss this? Luke Lambros, great point. Okay, let's go back down to Trump's attacks on immigration. Let's see what we have so far. So, Trump is most likely going to bring up Laken Riley and try to pin her death on Biden. Trump is going to claim the border has been open since Biden took office, and we had the most secure border in the history of America under him. Biden could point out that Donald Trump nuked the border. Someone asked me to not use the word nuke next to Donald Trump, so Donald Trump shot down a border bill. Sorry, Vincent, I missed that. My bad. There's a lot of... I can't read every chat. Why repeat everything? Stick to important issues. Yeah, that's what we're saying, basically. So when it comes to immigration... Donald Trump's immigration plan is inhumane and cruel. That can be a baseline of Biden's argument. And then... Trump has plans to deport 11 million plus immigrants, but how is this done without violence, without accidentally deporting U.S. citizens, and without tanking the U.S. economy? Literally, that would tank the U.S. economy. That would genuinely ruin our economy if we deported 11 million people. Republicans claim to care about the economy, but... Oh, the phone call to Raffensperger. That's a good one. Okay, so we now have a decent... we have a decent rebuttal to that now. So on immigration, Joe Biden needs to be careful defending his record on immigration. Not that it's bad, but he just has to be careful. I was reading this article about how Obama's problem during his first 2012 debate with Mitt Romney is that he got way too defensive over his record for the first 4 years, and he spent half the debate on defense trying to basically stick up for his records, and it just didn't play well. I think Obama historically lost that debate back in 2012. Not lost it, but he historically underperformed. So yeah, being able to point out that Trump's plan is genuinely inhumane and terrible. Countries are not emptying out jails and asylums and sending them to the U.S. Yeah, like Donald Trump is claiming. There was a good chat up here that I missed. What did I miss? He wants to start an immigrant fight club. Yeah, that's a good one. It would be a logistical nightmare. Trump wants to get rid of Social Security. That's a great point. Let's add this down here. We can get down to that. These attacks are so messy. The Biden-Trump section's so messy, but whatever. Forgive me. Oh, someone brought up the Raffensperger phone call, yeah. Someone said bet he doesn't show. Nah, Trump's most likely showing at this point. If you're explaining... Oh, there was just a loud bang outside my door. What the fuck? If you're explaining, you're losing. I don't know if I agree with that, chat. Yeah, I agree with what you said broadly. But, yeah, once one of them gets into explaining stuff. Okay, so I think Biden really, we should put this like up here. Biden really needs to bring up the Raffensperger phone call. Bring up the Raffensperger phone call. This is a man who asked officials to find 11,782, is that the number? 11,782 votes. We can even add that down here to this, like, what we were writing about Biden. Down here, we were like, what could Biden say? This is a man who calls people who disrupted our peaceful transfer of power patriots. This is a man who replaced the national anthem with the J6 choir. Oops. This is a man who asked election officials to find 11,780 votes. Oh, my bad. I was too off. Thank you, chat. Thank you. Whoever said you love this, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. I wasn't really stressing about it, but I've been thinking about it a lot this week, as I'm sure you guys are. Like, I'm sure everybody wakes up and they're like, oh my God, there's 2 days until the debate. And they're just thinking about it. You're just like replaying it in your head, basically, or pre-playing it in your head. So I was like, why don't I just go live and try to, try to like basically get doing away with the Constitution. That's a good one. This is a man who said he wants to terminate the Constitution. Someone said bring up Epstein. No. I don't know if the Epstein is Thank you, Timmy. Thank you, Crystal. I don't know if Epstein is a good one to bring up. Someone said, I really like that discussion you uploaded with the MAGA lady today. She was surprisingly open. Thank you. If you guys missed it, I uploaded a new video where that's us right now. This one's pretty good. This is a pretty good interaction. She was a really sweet lady.
So what is click?
This is something I want to do more. I want to explain to you guys what's going on in my head. Thank you, MeidasTouch. I want to explain to you guys in my head what's going on when I'm talking to these people, what's going on behind the camera. There have been debates where, like, not this one, but where I'm talking to someone and you guys don't see, but behind the camera there's like a group of people lining up. And then I always get comments like, Adam, why didn't you start pushing back harder, going crazy? And it's like there was a group of people ready to kill me at that moment, so I just kind of like, yeah, she was talking out of both ends of her mouth. There was this one debate where I was talking to a kind of younger dude and his parents were right there and his dad was giving me an incredibly dirty look, so I didn't push back as hard as I should have. And people in the comments were like, Adam, you missed this point, you missed this point. And I was trying to respond to them like, I didn't miss the point, but that dude's dad wanted to kill me in that moment. This part was wild to me. Look at this thing. This is supposed to be a pro-Trump toy. I feel like this thing is gonna murder me in my sleep if I buy it. Like, there's no shot that's supposed to be. Okay, let's go back to this. Fake electors, yeah. Biden's got a lot of stuff to keep in his head. Yeah, that is the funny thing is that was a pro-Trump toy. She, the lady who was selling those was a huge sweetheart. We like to think of all MAGA people as evil, but the lady who was selling that was a huge sweetheart. She handed me a bunch of Trump pens and she was like, Here, take all these pens. You guys are going to hate that I have this, but I was writing some notes with this earlier because I couldn't find a pen. It's one of the Trump pens she gave me, and it's like literally a Trump $100 bill. It's so corny. On the back, it says, "I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America." It's just, yeah. Yeah, we could stick these to my dartboard or stick these to your guys' dartboards. Yeah. I couldn't find a pen. She gave it to me for free. I'm sitting here making anti-Trump content, and I just have like Trump pens and stuff all over. That would be thrown out. I needed it. I needed the pen earlier. It's kind of funny. Like, imagine if we made Biden. Should I sell Biden pens? Could you imagine if we did stuff like that? Like, that's just so corny. All right, let's keep ripping this. Let's keep ripping this debate. Do you guys think it's worth going back and watching part of this one, the 2020 debate, or should we just not even? Should we watch the key moments? I love the shut up man moment, just as like, there's probably some fun moments we can find, but it might get boring. No? Yes? That's it. I'm unsubscribing. No! Don't leave. Yeah, someone said this chat is super active. Thank you, guys. You guys are like the best chat ever. We're all sitting here chatting. I try to respond to what I can. I can't respond to all of it, but yeah, you guys are a great chat. I love chatting with you guys. You guys are down to rewatch it. Old news. See ya, Heather. We can watch this in a bit. Okay, let's get to foreign policy. Let's talk foreign policy. Let's get into it. We'll watch the 2020 debate. Give me a few minutes. Yeah, we'll talk foreign policy and Social Security. We need to write those notes too. Okay. This is really what... This is a problem I have with like the current Democratic Party, which this bothers me. So... First of all, before we even get into these specific topics, Trump is going to claim that there were no new wars started under him. Oh, typo. No new wars started under him. And that immediately, when Biden took office, our adversaries took advantage of our, in quotes, weakness. See ya, Sister Soul. Our adversaries took advantage of our weakness and invaded our allies. Cool. That's what he's going to claim. Obviously, like Trump claims this every single time. He says there were no new wars started under me. Then Biden gets back into office, and all of a sudden it's World War III. Oh yeah, Trump is most likely going to say that Biden will start World War III. First of all, how does Biden respond to this? You can say, America didn't start these wars. Vladimir Putin did. Why am I typing? I'm taking notes for the debate tomorrow. I have notes like basically on what Biden might say, what Trump could say. We're just organizing all of our thoughts. Just chilling. The military equipment. Oh. I guess I'm just going to section this out. Trump is going to claim we left military equipment in Afghanistan. Okay. What's up, Toxic Blur? Thanks for joining. So there's a few ways that Biden can go with this. Yeah, Trump was in a war his entire presidency. We got to find the strongest rebuttal. There's a few rebuttals, but we have to find the strongest one, essentially. There's a few ways. So Biden can explain that when Trump was in office, he weakened our alliance. And that if Trump got back in office, he would only enable the authoritarian urges of dictators across the globe. Yeah, true. Trump did get laughed at the UN. UN Assembly, I think. Something like that.
Friends,
Oh. I usually get Trump ads,
and a
but it's nice to see
donation
a
from
Biden
you
ad.
today.
Today I stand before the United Nations General Assembly to share the extraordinary progress we've made. In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true.
Not what I was expecting.
Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Literally.
America's
Listen to the way he
administration has
speaks.
accomplished more than almost any administration.
I think that's what they were laughing at. This nation has accomplished more than almost any administration. Everyone starts laughing. Why is he doing a business pitch, a sales pitch at a UN assembly? Okay, so let's keep going down this debate list. Call it what it is, blackmailing NATO. The thing is, I don't know how to word this. A lot of this stuff lacks context with the broader population. So somebody was saying something earlier, like, I can't remember what it was, but it was some like niche thing that only people that are really locked into politics would be aware of. And it's just not a good jab because most people would be like, what is he talking about here? But yeah. Biden can say America didn't start these wars, Vladimir Putin did. He can say that if Trump got back in office, he would only enable the authoritarian urges of dictators across the globe. Yeah, the Doha Agreement, that NATO is incredibly important. Okay, this is the question I have for you guys. I don't understand how people can perceive Trump to be charismatic. I mean, I can see it, but it's just so obviously disingenuous, said Soft Lessons in chat. I can see it sometimes. Like, he's made me laugh before, but he just, I don't know. He's got this weird charisma that's like, I struggle to use the word charisma, but he's definitely got some sort of stage presence that is incredibly unique because like nobody else has been able to replicate his presence on stage, in my opinion. Like when I went to a ton of Vivek Ramaswamy rallies, Vivek was trying to, and Vivek has charisma too, but like, I don't know. He's a comedy show. He's a clown. He's like charismatic in the way that like a clown is charismatic, like not in a good way. He's just, when he's speaking, he's easy to listen to. He's always not easy to listen to. When he's speaking, he's actually really hard to listen to. He's always the center of attention. He's sometimes funny. I don't know. Yeah, he's charismatic like Jim Jones was charismatic. Like it's not inherently a good thing. I'm just saying like he has something that is really hard to recreate, I would say. A lot of people will have trouble recreating that. Yeah, con man comes from confidence man. He approaches things with a, yeah, he has this energy that keeps people engaged. Absolutely. Like Exhibit A is this live stream right now. Like we could do a whole live stream just talking about Trump's speeches, his stage presence. Oh yeah. My question for you guys, sorry, I got off track really easily. My question for you guys is how does Joe Biden refute the attack that our adversaries only attacked because they saw weakness in the United States? Let me type this out. How does President Biden refute the idea that Ukraine and Israel were only attacked due to his weakness? I have a few ideas about this, but I'm gonna see what you guys say, because we made deals with them. Well, this is the argument that they give all the time. Someone said weakness isn't sending aid to Ukraine. Biden sent a lot of aid to Ukraine, and that's not showing weakness. But the argument that Trump gives is Russia would have never attacked if I were in office. Oh, yeah, let's put this up here. Trump is going to say Ukraine would have never been attacked if I were president. That is his argument. And that is the argument that needs to be refuted. Russia took Crimea back in 2014. There was no weakness in response to Russia. I agree. I think Biden has had a really good response to Russia. Caters to dictators. Therefore, yeah, I think like the big argument, like where my mind goes, which is also just, it's a convincing argument, but it doesn't refute the main idea. So like what Joe Biden needs to highlight is President Biden needs to highlight the fact that Trump's peace deal necessitates Biden should bring up Kushner and Trump's Middle East treaty that failed to address the Palestine-Gaza situation, which helped lead to this conflict. It's an understand Trump. Yeah, I agree. I agree that the war between Israel and Hamas is off the back of Kushner and Trump's Middle East treaty. But is that a convincing argument to voters? Does that seem like deflecting the blame? Because if we flip the scenarios, this is always a good test to do in your head. If we flipped the candidates, if President Biden was attacking Trump on something, and Trump's immediate response was to deflect blame to either Democrats or President Biden, we would attack Trump on that. We would say, or say in 2020, we would say, Donald Trump, you're the president. Why are you deflecting blame? We did that with COVID. I do that all the time. Donald Trump deflected blame here and there. So what we want to avoid is Joe Biden deflecting blame, even if rightfully so, even if he is rightfully deflecting blame. We don't want the optics. We don't want it to optically look like Joe Biden is refusing to take responsibility. Remember, these are optics. One second. Deflect and reflect by projecting. All Biden has to do is talk about Trump's felonies. That's true. The machine will. Thank you. Did you decide to buy that insane clapping Trump doll? No, but that lady gave me a lot of free pens. Mentioning the cult would be good. I wouldn't use the word cult. Hell no. Do not use the word cult, Joe Biden, if you're watching this. I think Biden is watching this. Not actually, but you don't want a Hillary Clinton moment where she called Trump supporters deplorables, I think. I think that really, really backfired on her. You don't want to alienate people, and that's not Biden's style. Biden's whole style is whether you're a Democrat or Republican, doesn't matter. I'm a president for all Americans. So using words like cult or deplorable, just not good optics. It's all optics right here. Like, honestly, we're not even talking as much about policy in this document because, like, there's a lot of things that I obviously agree with President Biden on. We're just talking about the optics. Call them deplorable cultists. Yeah. Could you imagine Biden just loses his mind and starts going off on Trump? That'd be hilarious. She still won by 3 million votes. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But I think that comment was not too good. Hell yeah, you're watching the debate with your Democrat county group. Yeah, avoid charged words like that, which is why I also said earlier, maybe don't call Trump a rapist on stage, even if you're saying a civilly liable rapist, which is true. It's true, but it's just not good optics right there. You don't want to be throwing around words like that. Yep, Trump abandoned the Kurds. Promise is broken. So how does President Biden refute the idea that Ukraine and Israel were only attacked due to his weakness? I think the main one right there is President Biden needs to highlight the fact that Trump's peace deal necessitates ceding Ukrainian land to Russia, and isn't what Russian propaganda. But the argument that I always give, and if you watch my videos, you probably hear me say this a lot, but we can add this onto that. Any peace deal that involves ceding Ukrainian land, is only kicking the can down the road to another administration. And I say this a lot in my videos, but it's a wonderful list of speculation. Yeah, of course, we're just speculating. Of course. None of this is like for sure. I've said that a few times. We're just going through the. But any peace deal that involves, yeah, I'll be live immediately after the debate. Like within the 5 minutes it's over, I'll be live. Maybe even like if I get bored during the last 10 minutes of the debate, I'll just hop on here and chat with you guys. Any peace deal that involves ceding Ukrainian land is only kicking the can down the road to another administration. What's your question, Angelic Queen? Just write it and tag my name so I can see it. Historically, bringing up Kushner's treaty only shows their foreign policy records if presented in the correct manner. It presents the reason why we are forced to deal with the situation. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But we can't live react to it because my channel will get taken down. CNN is being an asshole. But thanks to them for hosting the debate in the first place. But they're being an asshole. But historically, Russia will invade a nation, pause that invasion when it serves their interest, then reignite that invasion at an opportune moment. So, I will make a Discord server. Absolutely. I'll be making a Discord server before the next live stream. Maybe even before tomorrow. Biden should throw in a few Bible verses at appropriate times without being overly religious. Yeah, that'd actually be pretty good. Because Biden, we all know Biden is the true follower of God there. He's like a really staunch Catholic, correct? And Trump obviously isn't, so that would be good. But let me finish this train of thought right here. Any peace deal that involves ceding Ukrainian land is only kicking the can down the road to another administration. Historically, Russia will invade a nation, pause that invasion when it serves their interest, then reignite that invasion at an opportune moment. They did this with Georgia in 2008. They did this with Crimea in 2014. Then they relaunched that invasion in 2022. If Donald Trump negotiated a peace deal, these are talking points you guys can use too, because I use these talking points a lot. If Trump negotiates a peace deal, in quotes, Russia will take that land, then spend the next few years rearming to invade Ukraine again. That is absolutely how it works. That is absolutely what would happen. Russia has done this time and time again. We can go back even further than 2008, but those are just like the recent examples. I appreciate the show. Will help to know what to look for during the debate. Absolutely. Question is, how is Ukraine and Israel being attacked have anything to do with Biden? I may be missing the point, but I really want to know. My Gen Z mind can get quite confused. So, how do Ukraine and Israel being attacked have anything to do with Biden? Because the way that Donald Trump frames it is that these countries were only attacked because America has a weak leader at the moment. A weak leader is how he frames it. Israel and Ukraine are both our allies. So, it really doesn't have much to do with Biden. Biden did not cause these invasions. We're just talking about optically. And America, as the leader of this global order right now, I'd say we're the strongest country in NATO. Obviously it's a lie. It's a lie. We're just talking about optics. It's completely disingenuous states related. It's not related to Biden. It's related to how Biden approaches the debates. Because when the world leader, I bet President Biden knows all 10. Yeah. Basically, the reason I'm saying this is because Donald Trump repeatedly says that we could probably find the quote. Yeah, like right here, Trump says that Putin took advantage of Biden being weak to attack Ukraine. That is basically what we're trying to rebut right now. We're not saying that Biden caused the invasion at all. Biden had nothing to do with it, actually. Vladimir Putin and members of Hamas make decisions completely independent of Joe Biden and whoever is in the White House. But I'm just saying, how can we refute this claim right here, that Putin took advantage of Biden being weak? That is what we're trying to refute. How can a lie be rebutted? There's a few ways. That one is hard with being a weak leader. Yeah, that's what we're trying to... Yeah, that's a pretty good quote. Such a simplistic view on foreign policy demonstrates you're not cut out for the job or a liar, but you're not exactly explaining why they're wrong. You need to explain. Ask Trump what he knows about the Constitution. Yeah. Or just say Trump wants to terminate the Constitution. I still think this little, we can keep adding to this list. This is a man, Joe Biden should say this. Joe Biden. This is a man who calls people who disrupted our peaceful transfer of power patriots. Patriots and hostages. This is a man who replaced the national anthem with the J6 choir. This is a man who asked election officials to find votes. This is a man who said he wanted to terminate the Constitution. Can you check your email? The one on your YouTube spells your name wrong. Oh, yeah. I didn't know that. The invasion represents weakness more in Russia than America. Yeah, for a few reasons. Because first of all, Vladimir Putin said that he would be to, yeah, I got you. Constitution. Capitalize the C. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Vladimir Putin said that he'd be to Kyiv in 2 or 3 days. That was 2 years ago. Vladimir Putin genuinely cannot stop himself from acting on his authoritarian urges, and their intelligence was so wrong that they thought they would get to Kyiv in a few days, and that was multiple years ago. Is that what the good buddy Putin told Trump? Yeah, also not an optical winner. Obviously, Trump and Vladimir Putin are buddy-buddy, but I think if Biden just says that on stage, it kind of just seems like he's throwing around random remarks. Biden needs a methodical way of rebutting the idea, of refuting the idea that his weakness caused these invasions. And there's ways to refute that, but you need a way to do it in a 30-second soundbite that's convincing to most Americans. Think in terms of the debate. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't take too long explaining. Tell people Russia's invasion is one cause of high gas prices. That's a great idea. But yeah, you just have to explain that none of these invasions were a function of President Biden. Because, number one, Vladimir Putin has been eyeing Ukraine ever since the Soviet Union dissolved. And Hamas has been on Israel's border. They've been going back and forth for a while now. Hamas was voted into power in 2005 or 2006. Use the word concentration camps. No, I wouldn't use that language if I was Biden. I wouldn't use the word concentration camps. Like, that's almost like making a direct Hitler comparison, which is something you want to stay away from on the debate stage. That's a little bit too charged. Yeah, Biden's taking really good time prep at Camp David. We can read about that a bit. Inside Biden's Camp David debate prep. Oh no. Okay, inside Biden's Camp David debate prep. Let's do this. See you, Mavra. Where is Camp David? I think it's in Maryland. Okay. President Biden's aides are working to position him as a campaign seasoned fighter who can counterpunch on the fly and combat voters' concerns about his age. That is okay. I cannot believe we are 24 hours away from this debate. This is wild. This is going to get wild. Okay. Biden needs to throw some good punches. Biden needs to try not to have an old man moment, because that's going to be so clippable if Biden just has one old man moment. And don't mistake that as me saying that Biden's like too old to take office. I'm just saying he has his moments. We can all agree he has his moments that are clippable. And a lot of times the clips aren't even like accurate, but like if he just has one of those moments, then that'll be bad optics. But also, yeah. At Camp David, a movie theater and an airplane hangar have been outfitted with lights and production equipment to create a mock debate stage. That's freaking awesome. At least 16 current and former aides, summoned from Washington and Wilmington, whiz back and forth on golf carts to join President Biden in strategy sessions. That is so sick. A movie theater and an airplane hangar have been outfitted with lights and production equipment, so they're doing mock debates. Mr. Biden is entering his 5th day of preparations to the presidential retreat in the woods of northern Maryland for Thursday's debate against Trump. Camp David has become the epicenter. Oh, you're so clippable. Everyone, yeah, I know that everyone has those moments, of course. Trump's going to have his moments too. Trump is going to have his gaffes. I'm not saying that, like, I'm just saying, yeah, we all have our moments. I've had them on this stream where I forget stuff, I misspeak. It absolutely happens. I'm just saying. How would you approach a potential Trump re-election if it happened? I would just stay inside. I just wouldn't go outside, honestly. I would just work. Yeah, just stay inside. No, I would, I don't know. Make a lot of content. Go back to article. Okay. I stutter more than Biden, and I have a stutter. Yeah, this wasn't an indictment on like Biden. I wasn't saying that Biden can't speak or anything. I'm just saying, like, we all have our moments, and sometimes President Biden's get clipped up. Right now, that would, So, both candidates are out of practice as debaters. Or sorry, let me go back. Camp David has become the epicenter for an administration and campaign effort to help Mr. Biden shake off the rust that often comes with being an incumbent on the defense and combat widespread voter concerns that he is too old to be an effective president. Both candidates are out of practice as debaters, and Mr. Biden's top advisors, including Ron Klain, who is managing the debate preparations, are aware of the missteps incumbents have made in the past. In 2012, President Barack Obama flailed in his first re-election debate and had to quickly reorient for a second one. I was talking about this earlier. President Obama famously did not do too well against Mitt Romney because he was out of practice after 4 years of not debating, and he got really defensive about his record throughout the entire time. He was super, super defensive. So they will be working to position Mr. Biden not only as a president in the midst of a re-election campaign, but also as a fighter who can counterpunch on the fly. Mr. Trump, an opponent who is adept at extemporaneous insults, skipped the primary debates that could have sharpened his skills. The rust factor is real, said David Axelrod, a former top strategist to Mr. Obama. Neither of these guys is accustomed to having someone a few feet away grilling them with no deference. That is going to be insane. Yeah. Both candidates, this person, Tony Mueller, basically summarized it up well. Both candidates will have old age gaffes. It's inevitable. But Biden's will optically be worse. Absolutely true. Because right now, the whole point of this debate is to dismiss the idea that Biden is too old. So any sort of gaffes can hurt Biden. But it's not going to be that big of a deal. Yeah, Biden needs to say, hey, Brad, I need you to find 11,780 votes. Biden needs to bring this up. There's just so much that Biden can bring up. It's almost too much. Like, you have to bring up the fake electors. You have to bring up January 6th, Donald Trump watching January 6th unfold, 11,780 votes. There's just so many things you can bring up. Is Obama prepping him? I'm sure they've talked about it, but I don't know if Obama's at Camp David. I don't think so. I think it's just Biden, like Ron Klain or whatever. They're all trying to game out exactly which attacks Mr. Trump might launch at Mr. Biden. Hey, that's what we're doing. We probably have a similar list to them. Maybe ours is better. No, I doubt it. Ours is definitely worse. But which policies has Mr. Trump could try to undermine, and how they can best keep the president focused on landing an argument and striking a character and policy contrast with Mr. Trump. Officials on Mr. Biden's campaign believe that the debate will provide an opportunity to go on the offensive on issues like immigration and abortion access. Okay, so they have everything ready for immigration. We're probably missing something big about immigration here. But someone pointed out earlier that Trump's like inhumane 11 million deportation plan is terrible. Oh, get Trump to say it in his own words. If Trump says concentration camp, that would be big. Trump won't say concentration camp. There's no way. He's an idiot, but he's not that dumb. He might be that dumb, but he's not going to do that tomorrow. He doesn't like slip up that badly. I mean, stand back and stand by was if it can be like another stand back and stand by moment, that would be awesome. Haunted Vault, just say that I appreciate you. Thank you. I hope you guys are all enjoying this stream. I just kind of decided to go live a little bit before. I can make this document public. Yeah, I can do it. Go follow my Instagram. It's just my name at Adam Mockler. I'll type it in chat, and I'll post this document on my Instagram story, and you guys can all access it later. Probably worth it just to see. You guys can look at all my typos and point out everything. Yeah. Will said, I appreciate you doing this. I need my pre-debate fix. Thank you. Thank you. I was hoping a few people would at least enjoy this, because I was like, it's going to be kind of fun to go through all of the stuff that we're writing down after the debate. All right, let's keep going with this article. It'll still be a live television broadcast on CNN with moderators who will be under pressure to fact-check both men in real time, but who have downplayed any expectation that they will wade into rebuttal territory. David Shalyan, who, interesting enough, I've met David Shalyan in real life. I was on vacation with my family one time, and my grandpa watches CNN religiously, and he points over to this table next to us. He's like, I think I recognize that guy from CNN. Is that David Shalyan? That was like 2 or 3 years ago, before I ever even got into this, like, the media game. And I've tried to hit up Dave Shalyan a few times since then. I've been like, hey, I do media stuff now too, but he never responds. David Shalyan told the New York Times over the weekend that the moderators would focus on, quote, facilitating the debate between these candidates, not being a participant in that debate. I like that, but at the same time, it's like, you're not going to fact check anything Trump says, anything. Thank you guys, everyone that's saying they're enjoying it. That's means a lot to me. I was hoping a few people would like this. Let's see. Bob Bauer, Mr. Biden's personal attorney, has played the role of Mr. Trump in mock debates at Camp David, just as he did in 2020. In his book, The Unraveling, Mr. Bauer said he studied hours of tapes of Mr. Trump as a businessman, candidate, and president before the 2020 debates. He wrote that he did not try to portray a Saturday Night Live version of Trump with makeup and costumes. Instead, he wrote, I used as much of the language he did on the topics that would come up in the debate. That is amazing. That is awesome, because... Too bad your 5th grade debate wasn't video. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I wish. I bet that teacher, I think he's still super Christian. I think I ran into him a few years back, and he's, yeah. Raven's truth is only hate watching. Are you a Trump supporter? Are there any Trump supporters in chat right now? Just curious. We don't really care. We're all cool. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, so Bob Bauer said he used as much of the language he did as possible, like that Trump uses, and that's kind of what we're doing here. A lot of this language is exactly what Donald Trump says. Stuff about Ukraine being invaded because of Biden's weakness, just stuff about like black unemployment was what's it called? Historically low. All of this stuff, these are Trump words. Trump here. Oh, Trump is in the chat? Oh my God. Oh no, he just means he's a Trumper. Okay. I was about to say, if Trump is in the chat, hide the note document. The actual Mr. Trump has engaged in something that resembles... Wait, did I skip something? The actual Mr. Trump has engaged in something that resembles a more streamlined debate preparation process than in past years. He has sat for policy discussions with allies, but over the weekend, he said that he was relying on his experiences as a campaigner to guide him when he takes the stage across from Mr. Biden. Why do they say Mr. Biden and not President Biden? I always find that weird. Well, this is really the best strategy out there. This is really the best strategy right here. Mr. Trump told Fox News ahead of a rally in Philadelphia over the weekend. Hey, I was there. We have all these people out here, and they're screaming questions. I look forward to the debate. Trump here. As a trans woman terrified of what will happen in November, thank you for helping and covering all this and giving a sense of optimism and enjoyment. No problem, Rogue Gamer. Thank you for being here. And I'm sorry that Republicans won't get you guys out of their mind, because it's like that's Republicans' most important issue, really. Transgender people, just let people live how they want. Let's focus on the economy, right? At the rally, he attacked Mr. Biden for going, quote, to a log cabin to study. By log cabin, he means Camp David. And he suggested Mr. Biden would be taking supplements to get jacked up before the debate, and said the president would spend most of his time at Camp David sleeping. But Mr. Axelrod said the length Mr. Biden's preparation was consistent with past debates. He said Mr. Klain plans sparring and mock debates which lead into a 2 or 3 day debate camp. Trump has a different process and that he doesn't believe in the process, Mr. Axelrod says. What Biden is doing is more customary. Mr. Biden's Camp David prep team includes Mr. Klain and Mike Donilon, who is the architect of the campaign's theme that democracy is at stake if Trump wins. Steve Ricchetti, a counselor to the president who manages relationships on Capitol Hill, is also scheduled to be there, as is Jake Sullivan, Mr. Biden's national security advisor. I'm sorry for the Rick Scott ads that are popping up. Someone said, I do fear that the stream could be used to help Trump. Nah, they're 24 hours out. This stream doesn't mean anything to any of the Trump people. Plus, there's like 500 viewers, which is a lot, but I doubt like one of them is like a Trump debate advisor or whatever. When is the debate? The debate starts tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Do you think Trump is the worst president of all time? He's up there. He's got to be like bottom 3 presidents. I feel like other people are more equipped to answer that because I don't know like the history of all the presidents. Do you think another January 6th will happen if Biden wins? No, I think they learned. Trump is probably the worst president of all time, but I can't just say that without like a blanket statement without knowing the history. I mean, he's easily the worst president in recent history or the past 50 years. I know a lot about the presidents of the past 50 years. Yeah, worst modern president, easily, without a doubt. Like, that's not even a question. Absolutely. Can I moderate the next debate? Yeah. If I can get access to that. Right now, the only access I have is just going up to people like Mike Lindell and saying like, hey, can I interview you? Several Biden campaign aides, including Jen O'Malley, Cedric, blah, 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 are on the list of attendees. Some are returning to the fold just long enough to help Mr. Biden prepare. Brian Deese, who left the administration as a director of the National Economic Council in 2023, is expected to visit Camp David to help Mr. Biden refine his pitch that the American economy is recovering. See, that is smart. So Biden is having experts from different fields come to help him prepare for that field. So Brian Deese was the director of the National Economic Council, and he's coming to help Biden on the economy, whereas Donald Trump literally just defers to himself on everything. During COVID, he didn't defer to Dr. Fauci, whatever he said. What's up, Foggy Ozark? Yeah, we need that guy that moderated the Lauren Boebert debate. He needs to be moderating this one. That was really good. I'll show you guys my dog real quick since... Come here, buddy. Come here. He's the funniest. He's the sweetest. He's visiting right now. His name's Denver. Sweet guy. All right, back to the article. Doggo check. Yeah, he's so sweet. He's the best. I posted him on my Instagram story earlier. Not to plug my Instagram again, but go check out my Instagram story. Doggo check. Several people said there would be a clear division between Mr. Biden's inner circle and the diverse set of policy experts summoned to Camp David, some of whom are not expected to remain on site all week once the mock debates begin in earnest. Yeah, Pug Beagle mix. We have 2 Puggles actually. My other one's with my parents right now, but yeah, 2 Puggles. They're super sweet. I read this really interesting article earlier. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Let me see. Will Trump bring up Biden's drug accusations? I doubt it. What are my dog's thoughts on the current state of the economy? He thinks inflation has hit dog treats too much. He says milk bones are double the price, so he's voting Trump. No, my dog's a big liberal. What got me interested in politics? It's a long story. We'll go over it. That's it. Okay. What about packing the courts? No. It was a joke, Brian. Dog treats aren't 2 times more expensive. I don't think... Yeah, all dogs are liberals. Do you think there is a chance Biden will lose to Trump somehow? I honestly think that both sides will think their candidate won. As much as I hate to say that, like, we're just going to say Biden won. Like, there's no way that we're going to say Trump won, right? I think Biden will outperform easily. So what I've been saying is that MAGA Republicans are setting the bar so low for President Biden that all he has to do is step on stage and walk over that bar, and he's completely fine. So I think, what's it called? I think President Biden will absolutely win. Let me find this article I was reading. Adam, how do your family and friends feel about your recent interviews? I'm worried for you. Hire extra security. Yeah, my mom didn't like that last one. My mom did not like that last one. Yeah, it's going to be tough to reach the Trump supporters. That's what I was saying. So, like, is Trump going to win the debate? No. But in the eyes of MAGA, yeah. But, like, in the eyes of the average independent voter, I guess, if that's the question, no. I think Trump will come off as unhinged. I think Biden will outperform easily. He'll easily outperform expectations because they're so low right now. He'll absolutely be fine. I sell groceries and could give you a good argument on food prices. Drop it in the chat, Brian. I can write it in this document. CNN must put a disclaimer on who won in 2020. Yeah, so, like, what's gonna... Hell yeah. What's up, Jesse Pinkman? We need Biden to have a say my name moment where he looks at Trump and he's like, say my name. Like he's Walter White from Breaking Bad. But, what was I just about to respond to? Yeah, so, like, what happens if Trump claims he won the 2020 election? Is Jake Tapper going to butt in and be like, actually, that's not true? Is he going to fact check that? Because, let me see. Somewhere up here. This is honestly, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I think this is a really good attack right here. Get Trump to say on stage that, I mean, everyone's thought of this already. Like, other people have thought of this. I'm just saying. Get Trump on stage to say that the 2020 election was stolen. Biden then needs to point out that Donald Trump thinks everything is rigged. Everything from his court cases to the 2020 election, even the 2016 election, the Emmys, even this debate is rigged. Don't stroke out, Foggy. Yeah, Trump can fall into these traps. I think that's a really, really good trap right there. What was the other trap we set? Oh, if Trump can, I don't know if he'd do this. Can Trump admit that he nuked the border bill? Can Trump admit that he shot down the border bill? that'd be a good trap too right there, because if Trump can admit that he shot down the border bill, then it's like, what are we talking about here? You can't spend 3/4 of the debate explaining Trump's lies. You have to understand that. I do, because trust me, I absolutely understand that. I had that same experience when I'm talking to MAGA supporters out on the field. It takes them 5 seconds to spew some conspiracy theory, and that conspiracy theory takes me a minute to debunk. So when they're rambling on and they say 5 conspiracy theories in a row, then like, it takes me 5 minutes to debunk that stuff. So you can't do that, but you need to call Trump out for what he is. He's a liar. He's a liar who says that everything is rigged. So there's definitely a lot to call Trump out on, but that's really, really true, that you can't just spend the entire debate like calling out lies. Down ballot rebuttals, yeah. Yeah, the Raffensperger phone call will be great. Let's see. Where did that debate go? Where did that Biden-Trump debate go?
Al nominated Amy Coney Barrett over the week.
We'll watch this for like 2 minutes, and we can go down this list just to see what we missed on this list. Yeah, Social Security really quickly. Let's see. I guess let's see climate change. I don't think that's a good topic for the debate. I think it's an important topic, but not good for the debate. Social Security. I don't know if Biden's going to go for that. He should.
Weekend to succeed the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the court.
Yeah, Biden's gone after Trump on Social Security already, but we're talking about in the context of the debate stage. The context of like, what is good on the debate stage to optically attack Trump over if you have 30 seconds to speak in that moment? What do you go for?
You say the Constitution is clear about your obligation and the Senate's to consider a nominee to the court. Vice President Biden, you say that this is an effort by the president and Republicans to jam through an appointment and what you call
We have a professor at Notre Dame, highly respected by all, said she's the single greatest student he's ever had. He's been a professor for a long time at a great school.
Is he talking about his uncle?
And he's have a professor at Notre Dame, highly respected
I
by
thought he was talking about his MIT uncle.
all, said she's the single greatest student he's ever had. He's been a professor for a long time at a great school. And we won the election, and therefore we have...
New poll coming up. Sorry. New poll dropped. Yeah, let's just watch the Shut Up Man clip. Honestly, that's all we need to watch. Biden needs a moment like this.
I know it's late.
While we're waiting for this ad, Project 2025. I wrote this down somewhere, but all Biden needs to do, just say the words Project 2025. Oops. And tell people to Google it.
It was brought up by some of your Democratic colleagues in the Congress. So my question to you is, you have refused in the past to talk about it. Are you willing to tell the American people tonight whether or not you will support either ending the filibuster or
Angelic Queen, it's just a joke because she has to explain, but or he or she, I think it's she, has to explain what will Trump. It just Trump always rambles about Hannibal Lecter and sharks, so just a joke.
The court.
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now. Make sure you, in fact, let people know you're a senator. I'm not going to answer the question because the question is radical left. Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe? Who's on your list?
Gentlemen, I think we've ended this.
Unprecedented.
So good. So good.
Senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now. Make sure you, in fact, let people know you're a senator. I'm not going to answer the question because the question is radical left. Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
He actually, okay, that was funny as hell. Number one. Number two, I'm glad that the mics are muted, but also Biden should just flip that strategy back. Like, could you imagine if Biden just sat there? Biden repeats this question over and over. Can you condemn the January 6ers? Actually, call them rioters. No, call them insurrectionists. Can you condemn the January 6th insurrectionists? No, the debate's tomorrow night. Debate's tomorrow night, guys. Someone said debate's happening soon. Tomorrow. Can you condemn the January 6th insurrection? Or just repeat the question. I think he did this last time. Will you accept the results of the election? No. Go back. Can you admit you lost in 2020? Trump won't. Trump will not admit that he lost in 2020. Like, we all know this. Trump refuses to admit that he lost. So it's a perfect trap. It's a perfect trap. Can you admit you lost in 2020? Trump says, no, I'm not going to admit it because you guys rigged the election. And Joe Biden goes, but everything is rigged in your mind. How do you live in this reality where everyone's working against you when you were the president of the United States? If you're the president of the United States and you can't stop the election from being stolen, then you're a pretty crappy president. I will admit I lost if yeah. He's going to say, we'll see how the election turns out. Yeah. But these two questions are pretty good traps, and Biden should take the same strategy that Trump took here, just repeat them over and over. I guess the mics will be muted, actually, but maybe there'll be some sort of back and forth moment where it's like they have free reign to go back and forth. I don't know if it's going to work like that, actually. I think it's just 30-second answers, like back to back. But those are good traps, in my opinion. Isn't it past your jail time? That's a good one, but it's a little bit too quippy. It's like from a Marvel movie at that point. To prime Trump for the border bill trap, Biden should ask him if he's the leader of the GOP or not. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to trap him, and Biden better have these ready in his back pocket. What other questions can, yeah, heads I win, tails you lose. That's basically how it works. What's up, Midas Robin? What's up, Ravens Truth? Trump is going to be screaming when his mic's cut off. Yeah, Trump will keep going. That'll be really, really good if he does, because that'll just show that he has no impulse control and that he's incredibly unhinged. Yeah, why should we believe Donald will do better than the first time? Biden accomplished goals Trump touted. Yeah, for example, the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Trump wanted to pass an infrastructure bill for so long, but he's not nearly the negotiator that, does anyone know since Adam missed it? What did I miss? Just type it again. Yeah, Donald Trump absolutely got worse over the 4 years, Angelic Queen. Absolutely. They both have a record to run on. Yeah. Do you think we can keep the White House and Senate and flip the House of Reps? I don't think we get all three. From what I've read, the Senate is really, really hard to win this election just because of the elections, or just because of the seats that are up for grabs. Really hard to win. The House, it's definitely possible. The White House, absolutely possible. I think it's actually likely. Trap question. Will you cut Social Security and Medicare? No matter what he says, he makes people mad. Yeah, I think that's a good one. I think you should ask him straight up. Will you cut Social Security and Medicare. And that's going to be really important to a lot of voters. I was right about to say, like, well, like, I don't think about Social Security much personally, but that's probably because I'm 21, so it's like I'm not thinking about that much. But I think to a lot of voters, that is incredibly, incredibly important, number one. Number two, Donald Trump has recordings of him saying he wants to. Yeah, he's just going to lie. But then Biden can be like, there's videos of you saying the opposite. I just want to see, it's incredibly important. I know. I just want to see Biden really hammer home on these democracy-related issues. These democracy issues will be really, really important. Here's one. What should be the retirement age? Yeah, either answer to the Social Security. One of them is way worse, though. If Trump says he will cut Social Security, that's like game over for him. Can Biden wear a t-shirt with Trump's mugshot? Or would he risk wearing the same thing as Trump? Yeah, that'd be a good one. Yo, what's up, Sean? They won't be asking each other questions. That's the whole point of the moderators. Yeah, I guess that's right. But that actually is kind of disappointing, to be honest. If they can't ask each other questions, that does get a little bit disappointing, because I'm really looking forward to Biden trying to pin Trump down on some stuff. And then I guess it'll work in reverse too. Trump will try to pin Biden down, but I think Biden has a lot more that he can pin Trump down on. A lot of January 6th related stuff. But yeah, we have a really solid list right here. We can go through some of it. So basically, Trump has a closing argument. There's going to be no opening statements. Mics will be muted when the other person speaks, and there will be no audience. Yeah, how much should Mexico pay for the wall? There's a lot of good stuff that you can throw out there, but it's just like, what's really going to hit? Yeah, hit that like button, guys. So Biden has to play off of Trump's impulsivity and get him to admit his worst policies on stage. Biden needs to get Trump to claim the election was stolen. Biden needs to get Trump to admit he nuked the border bill, to claim that January 6ers are hostages, in quotes. Once Trump uses that extremist rhetoric, Biden essentially has him trapped. And Trump right now defaults to that extremist rhetoric. That is his default. Yeah, Biden should do really well tomorrow night. No culture war stuff, but just facts. Absolutely. Absolutely. So here's the list. Biden's attacks. Get Trump to say on stage the 2020 election was stolen. Biden then needs to point out, blah, blah, blah. Everything's rigged. I've gone over that. Bring up the Raffensperger phone call. That could just be like an entire statement that you make where you point out, you can string together all of Trump's threats to democracy in one sentence. This is a man who claims the election was rigged with no evidence, who held a rally next to the Capitol on the day they're certifying the results, had his supporters interrupt the peaceful transfer of power. This is a man who called Brad Raffensperger asking him to find votes. This is a man who still says the election was stolen. This is a man who says he wants to terminate the Constitution. If you can list all of those in just one clean list, they have to have that written out for Biden somewhere in Camp David, right? "30-second sentence." Yeah, just a quick 30-second sentence. "I fell into a nest of vipers." What are you, a MAGA supporter? "Will Adam sleep tonight?" Yeah, we're all going to get some good sleep tonight. Everyone better get some good sleep. And then tomorrow we can hit it hard. Okay, this is the one I really like too. Get Donald Trump to admit that he wants to eliminate the Department of Education. Biden needs to highlight the consequences of closing the Department of Education. These are things that Trump has said publicly. Trump has said publicly he wants to eliminate the Department of Education. Then Biden goes, this man wants to eliminate the Department of Education, which will disproportionately impact low-income students. It will deny teachers access to updated curriculum, updated technology. Teachers will be laid off. Teachers will have their salary cut. Tomorrow I will be on right after the debate. Literally 1 minute after the debate, I should be going live. I should have my live stream like ready, scheduled by tomorrow. So yeah, we welcome all trolls, and also say whatever you want in chat. We'll refute it. We'll rebut your pro-Trump propaganda. So Biden then needs to highlight the consequences of closing the Department of Education. The big one that Republicans will care about is make America a less competitive nation on the global stage. Less education equals less innovation. Convictions. President Biden needs to call Donald Trump a convicted felon at least twice. Will President Biden refer to Trump as a civilly liable rapist? I don't think Biden will go that hard, is what I said. I don't think he'll use the word rapist. Immigration. Can Biden get Trump to openly admit on stage that he was the one who nuked the border bill? Did you support Did you support the bill that Congress was on the verge of passing? There's a few ways to trap him right there. Dictator day one. Great. Yeah. Ask him. Let's put this down here near the traps. Biden repeats these questions over and over. Will you be a dictator on day one? Man, if they can't ask each other questions, then this whole strategy is basically bunk. I really hope they can at least have some sort of back and forth. I get that they're trying to minimize crosstalk, but the candidates should at least have some back and forth, right? Don't ask, affirm. Well, Evolved Monkey, definitely affirm it. Say, this is a man who did that. But the reason why Biden should ask is because if he can get Trump to concede some of these points, then Biden can affirm it. Then Biden can affirm it, and it's a clip. It's a clip on TikTok that has millions of views of Donald Trump saying, no, they're not insurrectionists. They're actually hostages. And then Biden goes, do you hear what this man just said? Blah, blah. Who's the Chris Wallace this time? Jake Tapper, or as Trump calls him, Fake Tapper. Is it Jake Tapper and Dana Bash? Who was the second one? I can't remember. I think it was Jake Tapper and Dana Bash or something. I don't know. I should know that, right? No, not Dana Bash? Okay, yeah, it was Dana Bash. Okay. Yeah, Trump will crosstalk, absolutely. Biden probably won't, but he should. He should if Trump does. If Trump is crosstalking, I think you should pin him down on some questions. So let's go back up here. Immigration. Can Biden get Trump to openly admit that he was the one who shot down the border bill? Then Biden is free to deflect blame and point out that Trump doesn't care about the border. Because remember, if Biden just deflects immediately, it may not be good optics. Even if he's right, even if Biden's right, the optics on that might not be good. Deflecting blame right there. I'm sure there will be segments, moderator questions, candidate points. All right, yeah. He can't respond to questions extemporaneously. Damn. See you, Luke. So, abortion. President Biden needs to highlight that Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices led directly to Roe v. Wade being overturned. Biden then needs to make an emotional appeal by pointing out the consequences of Roe being overturned. Higher infant mortality rates in Texas disproportionately impact women of color. People will get injured performing self-abortions. That 10-year-old girl in Ohio, whoever brought that in chat, great point, whoever brought that up in chat. Project 2025, if Biden just says the words Project 2025 and tells people to Google it, that's a massive win. Trump's attacks. Ukraine would have never been attacked if I were president. And what he's going to say is, Putin only attacked because we had a weak president. His words, not mine. Why hasn't veterans been mentioned? Yeah, that's a good point. You could bring up veterans. What I've found is that this just personally, I always use that line at Trump rallies where I'm like, what do you think about Donald Trump referring to veterans as losers and suckers? But none of them believe it. Everybody thinks that's a fake report. And because it's not caught on camera, because it's just hearsay or whatever, people think that it's fake. But it's a really good point. That's a really good point. I think that would actually, what's it called? Joe said Project 2025 on camera. Hell yeah. I missed that. He needs to do it while 40 million people are watching. Think what CNN will ask. CNN is going to ask like the most boring questions in the world. Like CNN's just going to be like, it's going to be about immigration. It's going to be about the economy. I don't even know if they'll press I don't even know if they'll press Donald Trump on January 6th. Because then Donald Trump will be like, oh, it's what's it called? He'll just say that, it's rigged against me. Why are they like pressing me on this? Gaza? Yeah. We didn't even get to the Israel-Palestine part of this. We talked about Ukraine a little bit, but with Israel-Palestine, first of all, the people who are incredibly far left and are really pissed off with Biden about his handling, which I guess you don't have to be far left. President Biden may not have handled it perfectly, but they're going to hate both of these candidates. So Biden's goal, he's going to have to walk a line right here to not piss off the far left while also not pissing off any of his Jewish constituents. Because, like, yeah, first of all, Trump doesn't have a plan. In fact, any plan he proposes will only make things worse for the Palestinian, or only make things worse for both sides, and inflame the conflict that is already cyclical. It's already a cyclical conflict that just like repeats on and on because of radicalization. Yeah, it's not our war. Someone said, "What's wrong with you kids? You like all this war." See, that's exactly what President Trump's or Donald Trump's going to try to say on stage to President Biden. He's going to say like, "Oh, Biden likes war," or whatever. They're not talking about putting Americans in Ukraine. Eden Barton is on timeout for spreading disinformation. Biden sucks 548. Great username. Great username. Oh, yeah, I can debunk the idea. What did he say? What's wrong with it? We all like this war. Okay, first of all, this war, one of the wars was waged by Vladimir Putin unilaterally, who has had imperial ambitions for decades. He's launched multiple invasions. Nobody likes war. We like Ukraine defending their borders against Vladimir Putin. When we give Ukraine aid, it's not because we're pro-war, it's because we're pro-self-defense, which Republicans should understand. You should understand self-defense more than any liberal, because you guys claim to be for the Second Amendment and for self-defense and Kyle Rittenhouse and all of this stuff. So you should understand that it is Ukraine defending their own borders. We're sending equipment over there, not that much money. We're sending 30% money, 70% equipment, and Ukraine gets to defend their borders, as opposed to allowing, like, you want to allow Vladimir Putin to to invade his next door neighbor with no repercussions at all. That would literally that would enable Xi Jinping to invade Taiwan, his next door neighbor. When it comes to Israel-Palestine, how did Joe Biden, we don't like war because Hamas decided to wage an attack on October 7th. We don't like war because we're supplying stuff to Israel, which you can disagree, or you can not, or you can disagree, you can agree with the stuff that we're supplying to Israel, but Americans don't like war because of that. We like self-defense. War does not benefit anyone unless you are one of Vladimir Putin's oligarch friends who, I don't know, makes money off the military-industrial complex in Russia, but also they're getting sanctioned out the ass right now. So, yeah, do you want Ukraine to just cede all of their land to an authoritarian dictator? No. Where were we on this list? Oh, Israel-Palestine. Trump doesn't have a plan. In fact, any plan he proposes will only make things worse for both sides and inflame the conflict that is cyclical. In fact, this conflict, I don't think Biden's going to say this. He's not going to place blame, because I think this is not a good optic winner. You shouldn't place blame like this. But in fact, this conflict happened as a result of Donald Trump and Jared Kushner toying with the Middle East. But how does Biden defend his own handling? Do you think Putin would stop at the Polish border? No. I think Putin would genuinely try to restore the old Soviet Empire if he could. He would keep going for as long as he could. Yeah, Trump's idea of imposing tariffs in order to abolish the income tax would raise taxes for a typical American family $5,000, according to an economist from the Center of American Progress. Let me find this article. Newsweek. You guys know I was in a Newsweek article the other day. Donald Trump's income tax would cut... One second. Sorry. Also, let me pull up my Newsweek article. I want to show you guys the comment I made for Brian Glenn. Donald Trump's income tax would cost average family $5,000. Let's see. Why is this all bolded? Former President Donald Trump's idea of imposing tariffs in order to abolish income tax could raise taxes for a typical American family by $5,000, according to an economist from the Center for American Progress Action Fund. Brendan Duke made the claim in posts on X, formerly Twitter, on Thursday, following reports that Trump had raised the idea. Let me see. Oh, shit. Ask him what his favorite commandment is. Newsweek, really? Is that a good or bad thing, Tony? The former president reportedly floated introducing an all-tariff policy that would allow the federal government to eliminate income tax during a private meeting with Republican lawmakers at the Capitol Hill Club in Washington, D.C. on Thursday. There is no tariff that could replace revenue from $2 trillion of income taxes by taxing $3 trillion of imports, Duke wrote on X, adding, if you did somehow manage to pull this off, it would be a big tax increase for the bottom 90% and tax cut for the wealthy. Another way to put Trump's latest incredibly unworkable idea is that it would raise taxes by $5,000 for a typical family. It would cut taxes for the average family in the top 0.1% by $1.5 million, Duke added in another post. Ask him how many blanks he's grabbed. It's funny, but it's not good for the debate stage. It's a funny remark. Like, if you saw Trump on the street, you could ask him that. But Biden should not say that. Also, this Newsweek article I was in was pretty cool. They wrote, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend in heated clash with Trump critic. You guys know all of this, but I thought my remark, they asked me for a comment. I thought it was kind of funny. It says, Mockler told Newsweek via social media direct message on Monday, when a top MAGA reporter can't answer straightforward questions from a 21-year-old college student, it speaks volumes about the movement's credibility. Brian Glenn is welcome on my show anytime to explain his positions and defend the indefensible. But Brian Glenn is never going to respond. He's never going to respond. I even called him out on Twitter multiple times. He does not want to respond. Oh, I'm not even logged in. But, what about the favorite question, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? The thing is, that question doesn't really work anymore. I'm going to copy that and paste it in this document. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? That broadcast is why I'm here. Hell yeah. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? First of all, 4 years ago, we were smack dab in the middle of the COVID crisis. The economy was crashing. Is that too hyperbolic? The economy was on a downturn. We don't want to be too hyperbolic. The economy was on a downturn, and thousands of American citizens were dying on a day-to-day basis. On the verge of crashing. That's a good one, Will. The economy was I don't think we were in a full recession. But the thing is, though, they've rephrased this question from are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And now it's more like, are you better off now than you were under Trump? They've kind of reworked this, I've noticed. I've noticed this at the rallies and like just listening to Trump speak. He's kind of reworded this. Are you better off now than you were under Trump? But I guess the same exact response could apply. They could be like, hey, under you, what's it called? Yeah, under you, the economy was on the verge of crashing. Thousands of American citizens were dying on a day-to-day basis because of your lackadaisical response to the COVID crisis. So yeah, we are better off now. But what he's going to be referring to is inflation when he asks that question. He's going to say, are you better off now? What if he has the word economically? Are you better off now economically than you were under Trump? And most people, when they think about that, thank you, Tony. Newsweek making a difference. They now say in 2018, are you better off now? See, if most people think about it for a second, are you better off now economically than you were under Trump? A lot of people might say no. Actually, I'm wrong. 1 second. Think from the perspectives of the moderators' questions. A lot of us are probably better off, but like, let me see. There was this poll that I can't find, but basically there was this poll that was saying that most Americans have a negative view of the economy, but they have a positive view of their own personal finances crashing because of COVID. Yeah. And because of Trump's terrible response to COVID. Yeah, most people when polled say that the US economy is not doing well, but then when you poll them and ask them about their personal finances, they say personally they're doing fine. They're making more than they made 4 years ago. They're beating inflation or whatever, but they look at the economy at large and think that it's not doing too well. So that's the thing that is weird. Would you interview Putin like Tucker did? Yeah, I would, but it would take a lot of prep. I would need a whole team, like I would need a team prepping me for that. Would you interview Trump? Absolutely, I would interview Trump. I would press Trump so hard. I would press Trump harder than any mainstream journalist has done. And I get why they don't, because if you press him too hard, that's the last interview your news network ever does with him. So like if he went on CNN and they just like ripped him apart, he probably would never really do that anymore. But like absolutely, there are so many good questions I have for Trump. There's so many ways that I would word the questions that I just don't see the mainstream media wording it. Like it's all about the wording of the questions sometimes. Wording it in a way where, yeah, this Canadian has your back. Thank you, Tony. What was I doing while the battle? What were you doing while the battle raged at the Capitol? Great question. Yeah. Sitting in the White House, eating McDonald's, watching it all unfold on TV screen while everyone was calling. Hell yeah, Andrew. You found my channel from Pac-Man? That means it's been almost a year. Yeah, if I interviewed Trump, I don't know if I'd be able to go to Trump rallies anymore because they'd all kind of know who I was. But, ask him if he still supports the Proud Boys. That's a pretty good one. You should start an internet feud with Benny Johnson. That would be I've been wanting to, like him or Charlie Kirk. That'd be so much fun. It's also good for my brand. Like just to like take a step back and talk about branding for a second, even beyond my I enjoy debating a lot. But whenever you get into a debate with one of those larger right-wingers, it's kind of good for your brand because on Twitter, you have, even if you have all these people attacking you, then it's like all these right-wingers are now more familiar with your brand. Yeah. But Benny Johnson's literally like the worst. How come none of the Fortune 100 CEOs, a group that is historically lean Republican, donated to former President Donald Trump? I don't know. That's a good question. What is that notes app? This is Obsidian. Don't insult our king. That would be the response to any trumpet after the interview. Yeah. Well, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up this live stream. I think we've been going for it has to have been like 2 or 3 hours at this point, almost 3 hours. Yeah, Luke Beasley and I are good friends. But I think I'm going to go live on Instagram in about 20 minutes. I'm going to go walk my dogs. Then I'm going to go live on Instagram in a bit. And I'm going to do one more poll just to ask you guys, just to see. Start a poll. Yo, but thank you guys for all being here, for real. Thank everybody. Thank everybody in the chat for being here. Sticky Monkey, Nick Donovan, Toxic Blur, Mrs. A. Wiggins, Howie. Thank you, everybody. Space Karen. Independent. King Jade. I saw a lot of your chats. See you guys. See you, Polly. See you, Jason. This Machine Will. See you, Alex Zoot. See you, Jesse Pinkman. Brian, Old Blue. I saw all of you guys. I saw all you in the chat. I remember all of you. Will, the Ligma Owl, Chili, Winthrop. See all of you guys. I'll see all you guys later. It looks like everybody's excited for the debate tomorrow. Hell yeah. I'm excited that you guys are excited. We'll go live. Hey, remember everybody, right after the debate tomorrow, we're live. Immediately after the debate, come check it out. I know there's going to be a lot of people live, so go watch whoever you want to watch. But if you want to be here, then come here. It'll be fun. Hell yeah, it's going to be a good time. Have a great night, everyone. I might be live on Instagram in a bit. I just got to go take my dog out. Have a good evening, Jeff, Hilly, Howie, Stacy. What do you think should happen for the border? Like in general, I think that the border, the bill that was on Congress's desk wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad starting point. Increasing funding for Border Patrol agents, add more asylum judges so people are able to get over here legally without waiting 5 years and they're not forced to like rush over here. There's a lot of, what time is the debate? It's at 8 Central, 9 EST. Great stream. Thank you, Angelic Queen. I appreciate all of your comments. See you, Raven. See you, Tom O'Malley. I got a dip. I'm going to go take my dog out. But have a great night, everyone. Follow me on Instagram. Hit me up where sometimes I respond to. You'd probably have the best bet if you want to get in touch with me, like emailing me or something. I don't know. I don't really respond to Instagram DMs. Polly doesn't think it's going to happen. We'll see. We'll see. You might be surprised tomorrow. Where am I on Instagram? I'll type my Instagram really quickly in the chat. If you DM me on Instagram, I'll try to respond, but it's hard for me sometimes. Peace out. Love everyone for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow.